Attention. This is a public service announcement from the WRB studios. The following episode that you are about to enjoy contains spoilers. Heavy spoilers. Spoilers for not only Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone / Philosopher's Stone, but also the entire Harry Potter series and universe. So if you've not yet had the privilege of finishing all 7 books, please kindly proceed at your own will. Caution, caution, spoiler alert. One can never have enough socks, said Dumbledore. Another Christmas has come and gone, and I didn't receive a single pair. People will insist on giving me books.
Sweet Dumbledore. Well, greetings and welcome to the We Read Books podcast.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
This is a place where we read books and then we talk about them for our own entertainment and hopefully for yours too.
Yes.
If it's not for your entertainment, I'm not sure why you're here, but we're so glad that you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the title of the podcast.
Yeah.
We read books.
We want to be as upfront with our audience as possible.
Yes. Yes. Full transparency.
Yes.
First and foremost, my great-grandma turned 98 today.
Way to go, Grandma.
My grandma Paris. Her name is Nyla.
I love that name.
Girl's 98.
Is she still, living life up?
I think her physical health is, perfectly fine for someone who's 98.
Yeah.
I think she's got a smidge of dementia.
At 98, I think a smidge is pretty, pretty understandable.
Yeah. So, she's out here doing it. She looks good for 98.
That's great.
So, hell yeah, Grandma.
Cheers to Grandma. Cheers to Nyla.
Oh, Nyla. All right. So, I guess we should introduce ourselves. That's Whitney.
That's Maddie.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have some social channels. On Instagram, we are at We Read Books Pod. As well as on TikTok, we are at We Read Books Pod. And our Gmail is wereadbookspod23@gmail.com.
2-3 simply because
it is the year of our Lord 2023.
there's no mystery behind it, no significant
Nope.
meaning, just that's the year that we started this thing. So
Yes, it is. And apparently there's someone else out there in the cyberverse that took We Read Books. So
I wonder what they're doing with it.
I don't know, because before we landed on a name, I obviously searched We Read Books.
Right.
And
to be sure.
Yeah, We Read Books podcast. And I got nothing. So I don't know. Whoever out there has that Gmail, what are you doing with it and why?
Because it's not I read books.
Exactly.
It's we read books.
Yes.
So it must be a shared email between...
Maybe it's like a book club email.
Maybe. That sounds...
Yeah.
That sounds very plausible.
Yeah. Oh, book clubs. you know, I've tried being in book clubs, but I just, when somebody else is picking the book, then I'm like, I don't want to read that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Or, yeah, I think, was it on Facebook that there was a book club?
Yeah.
I didn't make it past the first book. One, I'm just really bad at Facebook, but
Yeah. I'm also bad at Facebook. It's just not fun.
yeah, no.
But I think that book club ended up doing 2 books before it perished. We did Station 11 and All the Light We Cannot See.
Oh, nice.
But Station 11, I did read it. I think I still own it somewhere over on that god-awful shelf, but
I read most of it.
it wasn't my favorite.
I had intended to go back. It wasn't like it was bad, so I stopped reading it. But I will say that the switch in narrator, and not even just narrator, but like the jumps in the story, which are usually fine, but I felt like we were not only changing people and situations, but also times in the timeline, and it was just getting a little frustrating to me because I would start to really get into one of them, and then we would completely switch gears.
Yes.
And it wasn't vibing for me. But I do intend to go back and finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it was bad. I just didn't... I don't know. Maybe if I read it again, I would like it more.
Yeah.
But
possible.
I don't know. The switch in the narration... I don't know. Something about it I didn't love. They were operating in 2 different times. It wasn't like linear, which usually is fine. I don't mind a non-linear plot, but I don't know. There also wasn't a lot of action. Like, not that much happened.
And I remember that like there were like certain characters where you were like learning a lot about their personal lives and stuff, or like transgressions or whatever, but and obviously I didn't finish it, but I couldn't figure out like where we were going with it or why it was important to the story that was being told, especially in comparison with like the future and like the caravans and all that jazz. It's like, why am I learning about? I was just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to finish or just read it again and then see how I feel.
I agree. I think it needs another read for me.
Yeah.
But because post-apocalyptic anything is usually my jam.
Yeah.
I really like anything dystopian or apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
TV shows, books, whatever. I usually am into it just simply because of the theme.
It is interesting to see the different paths that people think life is going to take. But yet they take none of the warnings. Like, has no one seen Terminator? Because we're making AIs that do all kinds of stuff left and right. And I implore you to please heed the warnings of Terminator.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a little part of people who want the apocalypse.
Maybe.
They're
egging it on.
Yeah. Yeah. What Dakota likes to say about that is that it's so easy to be alive now. And I know obviously people are suffering, but generally speaking, you don't have to work that hard to like get food and water and a house.
Right.
Of course, like housing is really expensive, but you know, relatively speaking, it's
especially compared to history.
and compared to like what you would face in an apocalyptic situation. Like we're not out here on the daily facing life and death circumstances. No. Like you know. So I think there's a part of human nature that really wants to know how would I survive?
Yeah.
What kind of person would I turn out to be?
Yeah.
Would I like be the villain? Mm-hmm. Would I like become crazy ruthless and like not worry about just killing folks? maybe. You don't know. Like,
Right.
you know, you never know how you would react in a situation until you're in it. So.
Right. Because you could think about it, but yeah, like you said, until you're dropped into that situation,
Yeah.
there's no true telling.
Not at all. Because, I mean, like Walking Dead, for example, the governor, in his regular life before the zombie apocalypse, he was probably a good guy. He had, like, a daughter who he clearly really loved and a wife. I don't remember what he did for a living. I think it tells you. But he, for all intents and purposes, seemed like your regular, like, decent guy. And then all of a sudden he gets a little bit of, like, authority and he's just the fucking worst. And he beheads Herschel.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely, as they say.
And he's fictionally actual proof.
He had no need to decapitate Herschel.
No. None.
Was Herschel a threat in any way?
Absolutely not.
That sweet, sweet man.
That was like the first really devastating death on The Walking Dead for me.
What was that other really sweet guy that was friends with Glenn, though? Because I thought that was it Dale?
Dale, the guy with the bucket hat?
Yes. I thought that was...
Yeah. Dakota hated him. He thought he was so annoying.
Now, I haven't watched Dale in a long time, but
yeah,
I feel like he was pretty nice.
He was really nice, yeah.
But the way he went out was pretty, like, simple and crazy. Like, it's just like, oh, he looked down and the zombie ate his ankle. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I need you to pay attention to your surroundings, sir. Well, it's too late now, but...
Yeah. I know, but there weren't very many deaths in that show that I was like, yeah, we can't come back from that. Herschel was the first, and then none of the other deaths until Glenn really, like, got me.
Yeah.
Glenn's, I was like, really?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't need to see that. I didn't need to see that at all.
I, like, legit stopped watching.
I did too, for a while.
Like, we started rewatching it back, I don't know, a couple months ago. We still haven't gotten up to Glenn's death yet. Mm-hmm. We haven't actually went back and watched any lately, but whenever it was, like, actively airing, we were watching it, and when the episode where Glenn is killed... That was the last episode we watched for years until we just started rewatching it.
Us too. We were like, this is too much. It's too much.
Not Glenn. No, I refuse.
Yep. That was it. That was the straw.
You have to draw the line somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, I guess we'll start now. After a long diatribe.
And we did not say spoiler alert for The Walking Dead. You were not expecting Walking Dead spoilers, but it has been out for a hot minute.
And Glenn did die back in, like, 2015, or maybe 16.
Yeah, so I feel like there's, like, at very most, a 5-year no spoilers, and then that expires, so I apologize.
Sorry, but it's like spoilering, like, the ending of Harry Potter. Like,
right.
You know. You already know. And if you don't know, it's been out for, like, 20 years.
True.
So, get off our backs. Speaking of Harry Potter, that's what we're doing today!
Woohoo! Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
It's gonna be so fun. We're starting the series today, so we will be covering each installment of the Harry Potter series for every 5th book.
Yeah, we don't want you to think that the next, 7, well, I guess the next 6 episodes are also going to be Harry Potter. We're going to spread it out that way. If you're not interested in Harry Potter, you're not, waiting X amount of weeks till we get over this. So...
Right. Enough space to where for non-HPs you can skip it easily, and for those who love it, you don't have to wait too long for the next.
Yes.
So, HP, statistically one of the biggest series of modern literature. Or maybe biggest series, period.
Because it truly was just a phenomenon. It just completely
It was such an anomaly. Like, it was the perfect thing at the perfect time.
Because even though there were other big series at the time, people were doing midnight releases for and going to the movies for, like Twilight, for example, which I don't know if they did midnight book releases, but that one was pretty big. But it does not have games,
Theme parks.
Completely still growing merchandise.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I truly believe it is a huge thing all its own that's unprecedented.
Yeah, it's become its own genre almost. It's created its own genre.
Yeah.
It's very wild. So, it's really crazy. And it did also kind of set the tone for what people expect in a series. And you could see, like, influences, like, on Twilight, for example. They, I think, tried to mimic the phenomenon of Harry Potter a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Especially in the movies.
Yes, that's what I was just about to say at the same time. The last movie doing it in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Which a lot happens, but I feel like how it's spread out didn't necessarily need to be that way. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen it, so I have no opinion, obviously, but I know for Harry Potter it was 100% necessary.
Yeah, I know that there are people that say they didn't feel it was necessary. They're like, it's just a lot of walking around. But I do feel that because they did it in 2 films, they should have had more details that they left out. Like the Nigellus Black painting and the bag and just different things like that. I feel like they had 2 movies.
Yeah.
They could have.
There were a few things that they should have. I think I had one major gripe with part 1, and that was the Phineas Nigellus Black's portrait.
Yes.
And then in the last one, it was the duel between Harry and Voldemort.
And
I thought that should have been done exactly the way it was in the book.
Agreed.
With the crowd.
Right.
And Voldemort should have just fell over.
Right. He doesn't get to dissipate into dust.
No. And Bellatrix, too. I feel like I wish she would have just fallen over and died.
Yeah. My big gripe, which could we have saved these for the 7th book? Sure. But
we'll talk about it again.
But we're here now. My biggest gripe, I think, is that shard of mirror. It's he just has it. They don't tell you
that is true
where he gets it.
That is true.
They vaguely mention like how it works when he meets Aberforth, but you still have no earthly clue where he got it, why he thinks that he's seeing Dumbledore. I mean, nothing. It's just there. It's like, unless you read the books, you were clueless.
Yeah. What I feel like is that the first 2 films were made the way that they were made and the things that are included is because the people who are going to be watching those films were that age. We were 10, 11, 12 years old when those movies came out. And you can tell that the target audience was 10, 11, 12 years old. And then you get to like... The third is kind of operates on its own. It's different than the first 2 and different than the last 5 or 4 or how many come after it.
Yeah.
So the third is like an anomaly. And then the 4th, 5th, and 6th were made for the moviegoers. And then the 7th and 8th were made for the book lovers.
Yeah. And it's strange. So the same director for 1 and 2, new director for 3, new director for 4, and then same director for 5 through the end.
Yeah.
Which he, I believe, normally did sort of like political thrillers. So for him to begin on 5 really made sense. You know?
Right. Because, that 5 is an incredibly political book, for sure.
Yeah.
I wish it was longer. It's the longest book in the series.
Yeah.
And the shortest movie. And
I cannot tell you how much that pains me.
it's so painful because Order of the Phoenix is my favorite book.
Yeah, and it's probably
hands down.
Not my least favorite movie, but
I think the end saved it for me.
Yeah.
The end where they're battling in the ministry and when like Harry and Sirius are dueling with is it Lucius and another Death Eater that I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like dueling side by side. That the way Gary Oldman, like the way he does it and his like wand movements, epic. Like,
controversial statement,
amazing.
but I think that Gary Oldman actually made Sirius a warmer character, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he did an excellent job. I do think he was too old to play Sirius, but I also think that is his name Matthew Thewlis? Mm-hmm. I think he was too old to play Lupin as well.
Right. But the actors they picked for Harry's parents were also
too old to be his parents.
Yes.
They were 21 or 22 when they died.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were much too old, but I understand why they aged them up because they're supposed to look like parents.
Yeah.
Because if you are looking at Lily and James in like when they pop up in Deathly Hallows Part 2, if you had cast 21-year-olds to play that role, 21 and 17 don't look that different.
But they died, so they should.
Right.
You know?
I know. But
that's
I don't know.
the ghostly benefit of dying at 21, I guess. You stay looking young.
Young forever.
That felt like a gross statement, but
yeah.
Don't you look like what you died as? Like,
yes.
you don't continue to age?
Yeah, but I don't know. I always have mixed feelings about the 5th because the ending is so well done, well filmed. Yeah. I like it a lot. But
it's a great movie. Just when you compare it to the book, when you know what you're missing.
Yeah, like the Quidditch. They take Quidditch out of it entirely.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't, it's so crazy because Quidditch is also not super prevalent in the 3rd either. Like it's there, but it's not like there.
Yeah. We have like the one match where he falls off the broom with the Dementors and stuff. But yeah, it becomes an afterthought later, but it's actually a pretty big like part of the series.
Yeah. I think,
There's even, there were even extra games in the first book. That didn't make it into the movie. Understandably so.
Sure.
But, I mean, they still, I don't know.
Yeah.
The commentary from the different people throughout the series just are so great. I know.
Yeah. Like, in the 6th, Luna Lovegood commentating. So good. Mm-hmm. But.
Yes.
You know, it's just a lot of missed opportunities.
Yes. Yes.
So, like we've said previously, Warner Brothers, we're available. Just putting that out there.
Let us help consult you.
We will make sure that literally everything that a Harry Potter fan wants in the film will be in the film. And it will be perfectly cast.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, Alan. That's the only, like, drawback. I don't think anyone could play Snape like Alan Rickman.
No. But I do think there are a couple actors that could do fair justice.
Yeah.
Don't ask me off the top of my head because my brain went mostly blank. But I know that they exist.
Wouldn't it be a plot twist if they had Dan come back and play Snape?
I think I've seen that like as like a cool theory thing, and I that would be kind of cool.
It would be real because he wears like I've seen the idea pitch because there's a photo of him where he plays Victor Frankenstein and he has long hair, and everyone's like, it would be so great to bring him back to play Snape.
I agree. The only thing is I don't think he's looming enough. I feel like he needs to be taller.
Yeah. Poor Dan.
That is not a judgment to his height because I myself am only 5'4". So
well, I am about 2 or 3 inches taller than Dan, but I mean he rocks being short. I mean,
yeah, he does.
You know, Dan's an attractive guy.
Absolutely.
He has lovely eyes and great hair.
Yes, that was never in question. Just,
Never.
yeah, his
Never.
stature, I don't know if it matches Snape, but
It
could work.
They could maybe do a little, like, camera trickery to make him appear taller.
I mean, they did it with the twins and Ron. Ron was tall in the books and, like, kind of, not short in person, but he basically the description for the twins and the description for Ron, they kind of swapped it. Like
They did.
The twins were supposed to be like short and they were tall and gangly, and then Ron was supposed to be tall and gangly and he was kind of shorter and whatever.
Yeah.
But
right.
whatever.
And the Phelps twins killed it as Fred and George.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, nailed it hard. Anyway.
Tangents galore already.
Yeah, it's gonna be all over the place for this whole one. I anticipate. So I guess we could talk about the novel itself.
Yeah. So, a little about the novel itself here. It was published June 26th, 1997 in the UK, and then September 1998 in the US. So they beat us out by a little bit. Understandably, the author released it in the UK. So they get it first.
They indeed do.
Author is J.K. Rowling, or J.K. Rowling. I've heard it said both ways. Mm-hmm. I think I say Rowling.
I think she says Rowling.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Because really that's what matters, is that you say the name the way the person who it belongs to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think most people who pronounce it Rowling are Americans.
Yeah. Because we gotta botch everything. We gotta throw some hard vowels around.
Yeah, we do.
The title was changed from the Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone for the U.S. version because Scholastic, the U.S. publisher, thought it was too archaic for U.S. readers. So, AKA, we're not educated enough or worldly, enough to understand that philosopher and sorcerer could be slightly interchangeable.
Yeah, and I think they were afraid that if they stuck with Philosopher's Stone, people wouldn't know that this is a novel about wizards.
Right. Yes.
Which
you're right.
Read the back of the book, bitch. Stop changing the title.
I mean, the title of every single book does not tell you what you're about to read.
Exactly.
I mean, like the book title that you mentioned earlier gives me no indication at all.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't assume it's a comedy, but who would know?
Exactly. Maybe Station 11. It could be about a radio station.
So true. And then what was the other one that you mentioned?
All the light we cannot see.
Right. What the heck?
Yeah. I mean, the main character is blind.
Okay. I was going to say, unless someone can't see, okay, that was a bad example. But Station 11.
Yeah, that one you just simply do not know.
Right. Obviously, we hate the change. I don't know. I'm one of those people. It's like, don't give me a watered down change, like, because we're too stupid. Just give me the original book title, please.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because the Philosopher's Stone is real.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know the actual functioning stone is real, but the study of alchemy is a historical thing. People used to study that instead of chemistry.
Right. And I believe Nicholas Flamel is also a real person.
Nicholas Flamel is a real person who studied alchemy. And I obviously, maybe he did create a Philosopher's Stone and he's just out there still living his life. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a real mythological thing. Like, this is a real thing that you can look up and read about.
Yeah.
The Philosopher's Stone was supposed to make you have long life and can change anything into gold.
Yeah. And it's integral to how the writing is for the entire series. Like, the way things are named and and all that stuff. It's like it's all kind of like historically or mythologically based. So
Right. Yeah, so Philosopher's Stone is not an arbitrary title. It is titled that for a reason.
yeah.
So I'm so confused why Scholastic even, why they wouldn't have like made that connection. Like this is a historical like myth,
Yeah.
theory, whatever. Obviously, we shouldn't change it.
Maybe there would have been less like witch panic without the
True.
word sorcerer.
True. There was,
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
the witch panic was insane. I remember it like very specifically.
And usually the panic was from people who hadn't read it. They just had a
Yeah.
basic, they were like, well, non-magical people are the bad guys. No, just like one family. And maybe
Yeah.
maybe to some of the characters they were all bad guys, but
Yeah.
it was the bad guys saying that.
And there's a literal line at the beginning of Sorcerer's Stone where they're on the train and Harry's telling Ron about the Dursleys and he's like, yeah, they're muggles and they're terrible. They're not terrible because they're muggles. They're just terrible.
Yes.
Right there in the beginning.
The caveat is
Yeah.
said.
Literally. But, I mean, and what I never understood about the witch panic is they're like, oh, it's promoting magic and it's going to make all the children want to learn magic. Mm-hmm. Every Disney movie ever created has magic.
Yes.
That's the problem with a lot of those sort of arguments is they're seeing this one specific thing and it's a school for witches and wizards and like,
Yeah.
no, that's not acceptable. But Mickey Mouse dressing up with the blue starred robe
Yeah.
and the blue starred wizard's hat with a wand,
Yeah.
that's fine
Right.
because it's Disney.
All I say is if you are against something, just educate yourself on it first before you're just throwing slander out there.
Yeah.
know?
Don't hear a short one paragraph synopsis and be like, Satan. Because you know what? Satan doesn't show up.
Never.
He doesn't come to this party.
Never once.
And he's never even mentioned.
No. The closest thing we get is Voldemort. So.
Yeah. And he's the villain
Yeah.
who ends up being killed.
Defeated by good.
Ultimate good trumps ultimate evil.
Can't get better than that.
Yeah. These fundamentalists.
Oh gosh. Well, after the Satan note, we'll give you some fun facts. The advance from Bloomsbury for the very first Harry Potter book was a mere £2,500, which is a little bit more than American money, but not much.
And it fluctuates too.
Right.
At this time, it could have been. I mean, it's not off by much.
No. And especially if you listen to our Verity episode, like that writer was offered. Now that was a successful series, mind you, but that fictional author was originally offered like $75,000 to do 3 books.
Yeah.
And eventually ended up getting $150,000, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was first going to be $75,000 per book, and then
Oh, was it per book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even more then.
Yeah, so I think she ended up for all 3 books getting $500,000.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So it proves my point even more. But
Yeah.
after that, Rowling received £8,000 from the Scottish Arts Council, which I'm sure helped out a lot.
Yeah,
But that still means in total she received £10,500 to enable her to finish the edits on Philosopher's Stone and then begin outlining the future installments. So if that's your job and it takes you a year to write a book.
yeah. She said in an interview that it took her 17 years to finish writing Philosopher's Stone. From the time she started, like, there's that, like, really famous story of her starting it on a napkin on the train.
Oh, right. Yes.
From the time that happened to the time that she, like, had a manuscript to pitch, it was 17 years.
Wow. I mean, I would hope she had another job, but...
Yeah, I think she was a teacher.
But still.
That's wild. 17. It made me feel really good because I've been working on a novel for, like, a year.
Yeah.
And it's, like,
it
still
takes
an
time to
outline
build
form.
an entire world.
Yeah, that's...
Because you can't just build the world as you go. I mean, I guess you can, but to have to be able to tell the story, you have to just probably go ahead and have the world and the worlds and everything kind of established. You can tweak as you go, obviously, but I mean, you have to have something that your characters can live and breathe in.
Yes.
So.
That's how I've been approaching the fantasy piece that I'm working on. I have an outline that just goes over, like, world building stuff. Like, it's a witch novel, so what types of witches are there? How is their hierarchy structured? Who else lives in this world? Are the witches, like, are they the high power in the world, or do they share power with another creature? So all of that is in this outline because
nice.
I couldn't sit and just write, like, chapters without thinking through that part first.
Yeah. Well, it informs it so much and affects your characters so much.
And it affects how they can move in their own world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For sure.
It's hard, people. It's hard.
But now, if you think about it, it's like if you want a first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone compared to what she was paid for it, can you imagine how much it's worth? I mean, you found one from the very first 500 copies printed listed for sale for around $1 million.
Yes.
American dollars this time, but...
Yeah, I had a phase where I was searching for first editions of my favorite books and quickly stopped because your girl never going to be able to buy $1 million book. One book.
Hey, don't cut your famous authorship short. You might that could be your treat yourself after you make it big.
Yeah, apparently the first print, first edition Philosopher's Stone, that first 500 copies that printed, there's, like, a typo on, like, the back cover or something, so that's how you can tell that it's one of that batch. Aside from, like, a serial number, obviously.
Yeah.
But so any of those first 500 copies.
Nice.
$1
Like,
million.
kind of like there was a Beanie Baby, I remember, like, its name was spelled wrong on the tag. And people just, before that bubble burst, people were just paying loads of money for that misprinted tag.
So insane. I never got into, like, the Beanie Baby collecting. I wasn't a stuffed animal girl or a doll girl, really.
I didn't have tons of dolls, but I like a soft, squishy, stuffed animal. I still have all of my stuffed animals from childhood. They're not, like, on my bed or anything, but they are in a nice, safe, zipped plastic bin or, bag.
Yeah.
Preserved. Like, I have my old Winnie the Poohs, and I have a very nice Raggedy Ann. She's, like, hardly... She doesn't even look like I played with her.
Yeah. I have one stuffed animal from childhood, and actually it's a rabbit, and it's not, like, fuzzy. It's almost like windbreaker material.
Okay.
And I still have it. It's, like, in the closet.
Nice.
But I think my grandma's sister, got that for me on the day of my birth.
Oh, that's cool.
So I do have that one, but I never really had stuffed animals. It wasn't I don't know that I had, like, a thing that I collected when I was younger.
I collected, like, some little tchotchke type stuff too, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I also just have a hard time getting rid of things. I'm not a hoarder or anything, but
Yeah.
there's certain things that, like, if they have memories attached, like my stuffed animals, I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I want them, or if I have a child, I could give it to them, or, you know.
Yeah. I get it. I like to keep things too.
Yeah.
But mostly I collect books these days. But
As I am starting a larger collection because of this podcast.
yeah.
Which is cool.
I don't think, I mean, I've always been bad about buying books. I did go on like a record buying phase in my early 20s where I purchased a lot of records.
Yeah.
I do have I have Please Please Me by the Beatles on vinyl. And I think that one is worth like $100.
Wow.
My grandma had it in her garage.
That's awesome.
I know. I have Bleach by Nirvana on vinyl.
Nice.
I have the White Album by the Beatles. I have a lot of Beatles albums on vinyl. That was also my Beatles phase.
Nice.
So
Yeah. We have some bands, but we mostly have like soundtracks or scores to movies, you know.
yeah.
I just find this very moving. Speaking of sounds and music, there is a bird in the tree.
Yep.
That is making all kinds of noise. Not sure if you can hear it, but
Yeah, I'm sure it'll pick up.
yeah.
But
So you're just getting some
Tweets.
nature
Yeah.
tweets along with with the pod today.
I love it. And before we get into our plot points, I'll give you just a couple of stats to just show you exactly what the heyday was like. So, both the Half-Blood Prince and the Deathly Hallows, upon their release of the books, both of them sold 11 million copies in the first 24 hours of their release.
Wow.
So in 48 hours, collectively, just 2 books sold 22 million copies.
Wowzers.
That's pure insanity. I did go to the midnight release of both of these books, and I read The Deathly Hallows in one sitting.
Oh yeah, I think it's not like, oh, thanks for my book, I'm gonna go home and go to sleep now. No, you've committed to this. You're cracking that sucker open and
Yeah.
you're staying up past dawn.
Yes, because
To finish.
It came out in 2007, right before my senior year, and I made Dillard take me to the
Nice.
midnight release. And this is like the conclusion of a book I've been reading since I was 8 or 9. So
Yeah, I can't remember if I paused partway through or near the end. I was very upset. I was excited, but I was also very upset to say goodbye to these characters that I had been reading for so many years. Like,
Yeah.
I hesitated.
it was a bittersweet moment.
Yes.
Just the act of finishing, because at that point you're never going to experience it for the first time again, which is a real downer.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost had like a mourning period, which sounds so dramatic, but I really did take a break from reading for a while just to process the end of such a huge thing.
Yeah. And my favorite character dies, and I was pissed.
There was a lot of that in that book that did not, in my personal opinion, need to happen. I get it's war, but
Yeah, I know. I almost like, whenever Fred died, I literally just like shut the book and I was like, I'm not finishing. I don't even care. That only lasted
screw
like
the rest of those fools.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That only lasted like 10 minutes, but I was still
You put
pretty
your
upset.
foot down and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I drew a line in the sand. But, I mean, I didn't have the same reaction whenever, like, because the way it's written after Harry dies, right? That's the chapter end.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, flip to the next page to know he's not actually dead. But whenever you, like, see it on the page that he's dead, I was like, well, you know, there it is.
My brain kind of was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
I don't. But Fortunately, your brain didn't have to sit and did it limbo very long. You just flipped the page. And you had your answer.
And you had your answer. Yeah. I was more upset about Fred dying than the idea of Harry being dead.
Well, that's okay.
I would accept a main character death.
I was going to say we had been told for quite some time that it was going to happen. So you sort of emotionally prepared yourself.
I was wondering if she was going to kill one of the Golden Trio. Well, full disclosure, I really thought one of them was going to die.
I feel like
maybe Ron would die.
Yeah.
Or Harry. You never know.
Mm-hmm. I almost think it would have not. Maybe I do. Most tragic out of the trio if it were Hermione, because she just helped them both so much, like in a lot of ways. I feel like it would have been devastating just to see those boys be devastated over her loss. I think would have made it extra like whoa.
Yeah, because there's like one point where she's like battling Bellatrix. It would have been like wild if Bellatrix would have killed her and then Ron would have like come in and killed Bellatrix. That would have been fucking crazy.
Because you know what I mean? Like Harry and Hermione like mourning Ron, like seeing like I don't know. It's like I can see it in my head, but it's like it seems unthinkable. Ron and Harry having to mourn Hermione. Like I just feel like they both would have just straight up snapped.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if either of them would come back from that. I think Harry probably would have, but I don't think Ron would have come back from that.
I don't think Ron would have come back from that at all.
Yeah.
And if it were Harry, again, Ron and Hermione would have
had each other.
Yeah, they would have had each other, and they would have mourned, and they kind of had a warning, But, and not to say, because I would have been devastated by Ron's death, and surely Hermione and Harry would have also.
Yeah.
But Hermione's just so logical. I think she'd be jacked up for life, but I think she would pretend like she was cool.
Yeah.
Eventually.
And I think Harry is just used to loss. He's had loss his whole life, so I feel like Ron's his best friend, the first like person that he bonded with.
Yeah.
But I think he still would have muscled through that.
Yeah. And again, poor Harry lost too much.
Yeah. The only character I think died that should not have died is Sirius.
Agreed.
I think all the other deaths, even Fred, all the other deaths, I think, okay, yes, I have reconciled myself to this. Yeah. But I think Sirius should have lived. Because
he still could have had to be stuck in a backseat role or even been recaptured or something, and still things could have played out the way that they did.
Yeah, I fully... That's I think that's the one misstep I would have called out of the books, is Sirius. Yeah. Like... He should have made it to the end, I think.
Harry has the Weasleys, of course, but, like...
That's not
he needed...
Yeah.
Sirius.
Yeah. He needed him, and I just... he should have lived, and I will die on this hill.
I will die on that hill with
you. We have not talked about the Philosopher's Stone.
Hardly at all.
At all. It's so hard, because you're like...
It's a whole
thing. The whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Harry Potter has never played a sport while flying on a broomstick. He's never worn a cloak of invisibility, befriended a giant, or helped hatch a dragon egg. All Harry knows is a miserable life with the Dursleys, his horrible aunt and uncle, and their abominable son, Dudley. Harry's room is a tiny closet at the foot of the stairs, and he hasn't had a birthday party in 11 years. But all of that is about to change when a mysterious letter arrives by Owl Messenger, a letter with an invitation to a wonderful place he never dreamed existed. There he finds not only friends, aerial sports, and magic around every corner, but a great destiny that's been awaiting him, if Harry can survive the encounter.
Ooh.
Yeah. It doesn't say sorcery in that either. But it mentions aerial sports / him playing a sport more than once.
Yeah.
Quidditch is important. Do the rules, is it kind of nonsensical game?
Sure.
Yeah. Do I still enjoy it? Yeah.
The rules of every real sport are nonsensical. Football, get out of here. That shit doesn't make sense.
I mean, because, people like to nitpick Quidditch a lot, but it's like, yes, is it silly that one thing wins the entire game and is worth all the points, But how interesting would the game be if you just watched people sit around waiting for a golden thing to fly by? You got to have something else to watch. And also, the seekers have to have something to dodge. You know, that's where the bludgers and stuff come in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you got to make it even more interesting. Maybe people are just super good at scoring that quaffle. So, you know.
And that happens in book 4.
Yeah, I used to think it was ridiculous because I, listened to all the naysayers. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, no, it's fine. It's great. It's fun. Whatever.
Yeah. Especially because, like, they're not, our sports are all based around the time clock. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, when the clock runs out, the game's over. Mm-hmm. But the point of Quidditch, one good aspect is that there's the potential that match could go on for months.
Yeah.
And it has historically.
Yes.
So that is like a really unique sport feature.
I swear there's one, and I can't remember if it was like 3 months or 3 years, but it was an excessive amount of time.
Yeah, so long. That snitch was just gone. It was just like, bye.
It flew around the world a few times and then decided to show back up.
Thanks, Magellan.
Now, that's a game where the quaffle really could have come in handy.
Yeah.
Because you could have had one that was like way up and the teams were like, I don't care who wins anymore. Somebody catch that dang thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Harry Potter, protagonist.
Main dude.
Obviously, the book is named after him.
If it was someone else, I would be super surprised.
That'd be really funny, though. Subverting expectations.
Yes.
Then we have Ron Weasley. He's best friend to HP.
And then just his whole family.
Yeah.
We've got Molly and Arthur, who are the parents.
Yeah.
And then we've got Bill, Charlie, Percy, Fred, George, and Ginny.
Yep. So many Weasleys.
So many Weasleys.
I do always forget about Percy, though.
I kind of do, too. And he's, like, at school with them.
I know. He's just so forgettable to me.
Such a pompous turd.
Yeah. Come on. He does make up for it in the end.
True. Very true.
But then we move on to Hermione. She is the third leg of the tripod.
Yes.
She is the other best friend.
The third friend that creates the trio.
The brains of this operation.
Absolutely. Then we have sweet Neville Longbottom, who is part of the crew. More so in the book, especially.
Yeah. I think he's what we call, like, a member of the Silver Trio.
Yeah. Is the Silver Trio... Now, we don't have the other 2 members yet, but...
Yeah.
Are they Luna and Ginny?
Ginny, I believe, yeah. Neville, Luna, and Ginny. So I think that's like the group that goes to the Ministry and Order of the Phoenix.
Yes, you're right. And then we have Draco Malfoy, our bully.
Our bully,
of the series.
Yeah. And Hagrid.
Sweet Hagrid.
Our big old lovable Hagrid. And his dog Fang.
Yes.
He's got a bloodhound named Fang.
Yes. And then we have Hedwig, which is Harry's owl. Mm-hmm. His first pet.
Oh, his first friend, really?
Yeah.
Oh. R.I.P. Hedwig. The Dursleys.
Maybe they're bully number 1, just as a whole. We've got Aunt Petunia, Uncle Vernon, and then their piece of trash child, Dudley. Yuck. At least he starts out as a piece of trash. He's somewhat redeems himself later.
Yeah, I mean, he...
Not for a long, long time.
Yeah, he sort of is fine at the end.
He has a moment.
He has a moment. Albus Dumbledore. Every time I say his name, I think of the Harry Potter Puppet Pals.
Snape, Dumbledore!
Hermione!
Ron Weasley!
It's so funny. I think I've probably watched Harry Potter Puppet Pals. I mean...
too many times.
It's got like 1 billion views on YouTube, and I think maybe 1 million of those are me. So it makes me laugh every single time.
You don't have $1 million for a first edition, but you do have enough time for 1 million views.
Yes, I do.
Of Puppet Pals.
Got nothing but time.
He's the one that knows everything and tells very little and is the, headmaster of
Yes.
Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
He's the greatest wizard of the age.
His accolades are pretty impressive.
They are. And he is funny.
He is.
He's really funny.
I love a good quirky character.
Agreed. McGonagall. Professor Minerva McGonagall.
Probably the best teacher because she's stern when she needs to be, but she's also kind and warm-hearted when she needs to be. You don't see a lot of the kind, warm-hearted in this one necessarily, but you do see moments where the kids soften her a bit.
Yeah.
So I like her a lot.
Yes.
Someone who is not softened by the hearts of children at all would be Professor Severus Snape.
Yeah. No. He's another bully.
Mm-hmm.
He hates Harry. Hates him.
But he swirls up potions real good.
Yeah. Dude's smart. And he's the head of Slytherin House.
Yeah.
McGonagall is the head of Gryffindor House.
Yes.
So.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
And then
Sick.
the only other main teacher, Flitwick.
Flitwick. Oh, I love him. He's so
I do
precious.
too. He's the head of
Ravenclaw
and the charms teacher. Mm-hmm. Takes a little backseat in this book, but he is mentioned.
Yeah.
A handful of times. So
yeah. And then we have Professor Quirrell.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Defense Against the Dark Arts. But
yeah.
By his description, I don't understand why that man has that position at all.
I'm wondering if he got the position. Because spoiler alerts for the end, Voldemort is attached to the back of his head.
Right. But not until after he fails to do something. I can't remember if it was... He failed to do something in the beginning because, when he first met Harry, he did not have the turban on. Oh, it was because he failed to get the Philosopher's Stone from Gringotts
that day.
So Voldemort was like, I'm keeping a closer eye on you. Yes. And then he gets on the turban. But he says that he meets Voldemort when he was younger in his travels. Yeah. So he may have met him, had his travels, and then been swayed by Voldemort to take the position. That never even occurred to me.
Yes.
Until this very moment.
Yeah, and they probably they're always struggling to fill that post, so he was probably the only applicant, and that's why he got the job.
Yeah, I think because somebody cursed it, because they wouldn't give it to him. Because I think Voldemort, I won't ultimately spoiler that, but, I think he wanted it, didn't get it, so he cursed it.
Yeah.
And we've said his name 10 million times, Voldemort, or Voldemort. Depending on how you agree, whether you're supposed to say the T or not. He's our ultimate big bad.
He is.
Of the series.
Of the whole shebang.
Killed Harry's parents and set everything in motion.
He did. Tried to kill Harry himself. Couldn't.
Just a wee little babe.
Aw. Okay, so those are really all the characters we deal with. Yeah. In this book, mostly.
As I said, there's a few outliers that we didn't mention, but not that they don't matter, because all of them do.
But they're not really integral.
Not to this discussion.
Yeah. So when we first meet the Dursleys, they don't have Harry yet.
No.
Uncle Vernon works at a company that sells drills, and Aunt Petunia is a housewife. Dudley's a baby.
A stupid, stupid baby.
Yeah.
He sounded awful even as a baby.
Yeah, I know. And the opening chapter, when you meet the Dursleys, I didn't ever notice the descriptions of the Dursleys until I was listening to Smug Book Club. They do Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. And the description of Uncle Vernon is he's a large man with a thick mustache and hardly any neck. And Aunt Petunia is thin and blonde with twice the usual amount of neck.
Mm-hmm. For craning it at the neighbors to get into their business.
It's just really funny that she describes their neck size.
Not an attribute I tend to hone in on with people, but
yeah.
They're clearly important.
That's a nice neck you got there.
Usually that's only vampires saying so.
Yes, true. True. But, so yeah, and Vernon notices some weird shit going on. He sees some owls in the daylight. He sees people in robes, and he's like, oh, why can't they wear normal clothes?
Because, as we're told, the Dursleys absolutely hate anything that is not completely mundane and normal.
Yeah.
Out of the norm, get out of here.
No. Yeah. Anything abnormal, not a chance. They're not going to deal with any of that nonsense.
But the statutes of secrecy for the wizarding world are a little lax today, and we notice star showers and all kinds of things.
So, yeah.
People are celebrating something. We just don't know what.
Not yet. And then Vernon, well, yeah, I guess that's really all there is about, like, meeting them.
Yeah.
He notices, and he tries to bring it up to Petunia, but is scared.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't like talking about her sister, who's Harry's mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after they go sweetly to sleep, that's when Dumbledore shows up on their street with Minerva McGonagall and sweet Hagrid, who's carrying sweet baby Harry. Mm-hmm. Everyone is celebrating because Voldemort is gone, but Harry's parents are dead.
Yeah.
And he is now an orphan. He
is.
needs somewhere to live. Now, I don't think the series ever says, but I want to know what happened to all the grandparents. Why is it that the only living relative this sweet poor boy has is the Dursleys?
I know. I read somewhere that it was theorized that Voldemort had killed Lily and Petunia's parents. And that's one of the reasons why she hated Lily so much.
Oh.
I don't know about the Potters.
I mean, the Potters were a pretty prominent magical family, it seems like.
Yeah.
Or, well, maybe not really prominent, wealthy. But yeah.
I think one of Harry's ancestors on the Potter side invented something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where they got their money from. But James was an only child, so...
Yeah.
You know.
No aunts and uncles on that side. But, and I get, they also didn't want him growing up in the wizarding world being famous. They wanted him to have humble beginnings, but I don't think they wanted him this humbled because these people beat this poor child into the absolute ground. Yeah. Just emotionally. I don't think they do physically, but they might as well have.
Yeah. And I mean, they neglect him, emotionally abuse him. Sometimes punishment is like going to bed without food, so he's like skinny and small for his age. Yeah. I mean, it's probably has something to do with his room being the cupboard under the stairs.
Now, they want to stamp the magic out that they know is in him that Harry is unaware of, but don't you think that it would have worked better had they welcomed him with open arms and like forced the love of the complete normal down his throat rather than treating him like trash?
Yeah, because his displays of magic come out in times of fear and extreme embarrassment or emotional turmoil.
Mm-hmm. And he lives in all of that.
Turmoil, so he's always bursting with magic.
Poor guy.
So the first real, like, magic we see him do is at the zoo. He goes to the zoo with the Dursleys for Dudley's birthday. And he meets the snake, and he was chit-chatting with the snake.
Dursley and his friend get to go to the zoo for Dursley's birthday. Oh, not Dursley.
Well,
Dudley.
Yeah. I mean,
whatever. Dudley, Dursley, turd bag. You know.
It's all the same.
And, they want the snake to move. The snake doesn't move, but then all of a sudden, Harry's talking to it, and it's responding.
Yeah.
And it's moving, and it's grooving. So then Dudley's friend notices, calls everyone over, and then, oops, the glass disappears.
Yep.
And the snake escapes.
Yep. And it just, the snake wants to go back to Brazil.
Yeah. Well, I think it was bred in captivity, but it wants to visit Brazil.
It wants to go to its motherland.
Yes, it says, Brazil, here I come. I think.
And it says, like, thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
That's said. The opening chapters really feel like a children's book.
Yeah,
it's so like precious because that is definitely something you would have like latched onto as a child. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolutely.
And then the letters come. Harry is punished for
Of course.
for the snake.
Even if it was unintentional, he set a snake loose, so he's in big trouble per usual.
Per usual. And it doesn't say how long he's locked in his cupboard, but by the time he gets out, the summer holidays have started.
Yeah.
And he one morning there's a letter for him,
Which is absolutely unusual.
and it is addressed to Mr. H. Potter, cupboard under the stairs.
They know where he lived, guys.
Exactly. Where
Not just the house, but the room.
the room.
Obviously, the Dursleys are completely freaked out by this, and they
Yeah.
know... They don't know... No, they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Petunia knows that her sister was accepted to this school. So they know exactly what this is. Want no part of it. Want
Yeah.
Harry to have no part of it.
And they will not let him read this letter.
No. So the more they avoid it, the more letters come.
Yeah. Letters coming everywhere.
Out of eggshells and...
Down the chimney like Santa.
Yeah.
Just tons of them. This scene in the movie is really precious.
Yeah.
There's like so many letters, but then you have like people are like, "What? There's so many. How did Harry not just like snag one?"
Right. And the way it is in the book, they just close the door to the
Yeah.
room, so there's no like big grabbing the air scene.
Yeah.
And also, he's excited. Your brain is not thinking logically when you're a child and you're excited. Things are flying around your head.
Yeah.
But I always point out in the movie that when he's laying there in Vernon's arms and he's like, "Let go of me, the letters are mine," his mouth is completely clenched. So, ADR, that's fine. It happens. It's not a big irk, but it just makes me laugh every single time. I'm like, he's rocking some ventriloquism, a different kind of magic.
Yes.
So to get away from all of these letters, they move about, but eventually they end up in a hut in the middle of a sea somewhere.
They're on like an island.
You can get there by boat, and that's about it.
Yeah. And there's like a mad storm raging on.
And then we have a big ol' knock at the door. Mm-hmm. And it's Hagrid!
Oh.
Big, lovable, giant Hagrid, who is here to not only deliver Harry's letter to school, but also to wish him a happy birthday. The boy's turning 11. Mm-hmm. He's growing up before our very eyes.
Before our very eyes.
He actually brings Harry a cake, which I'm certain he's never had one for his own. Like, he's probably had leftover scrap cake from, stuff, but never one for him.
Never.
And Hagrid tells him, "You're a wizard, Harry."
Yeah. It's really, really precious. And
It is.
Harry just doesn't believe it. He's like, no. You have to be mistaken. I couldn't be a wizard.
And then he kind of states the obvious. Have you ever done anything that you didn't mean to happen? And he thinks about the glass with the snake and floating up to the roof of the school when the bullies were chasing him and making his hair grow when his Aunt Petunia chopped it off like a freak. Just to, I swear she did these things on purpose to punish the poor boy.
She like shaved his whole head and left bangs so it would cover his scar.
Yeah,
he's got the lightning scar. We didn't say that, but he's got a lightning bolt scar.
Oh yes, that is where Voldemort attempted to kill him.
End his life.
Yeah. Funny, just a short aside, that was actually a thing when I was in elementary school. Boys would have shaved heads with bangs.
I do remember in middle school that having like longer bangs in the front and like spiking them up was a thing. But and
the
like
duck bill.
Yeah, and the rest of the hair was like short.
Yes.
But I don't remember any of the boys having like shaved heads with like
this was
an actual
my
tuft.
elementary years, so you would have been probably kindergarten if not preschool. So the fad had thankfully passed by the time you reached
that's a bold hairstyle.
Weirdly
the 90s was a weird time.
There was a lot of experimental hair going on.
Yeah. So, Hagrid also gives Dudley a pig's tail here.
Yes, the Dursleys are being absolutely nasty, disparaging, not only just like wizardry in general, but the school, its headmaster, her sister and her husband, who went and quote unquote got themselves blown up.
up.
Kiss a butt, lady.
Yeah.
So, and Hagrid's having no more of this.
Nah.
And Dudley's being a little pig. And so he just, zoop, zoop.
Pig's
Gives
tail.
a pig's tail. He wanted to do more, but, you know, Hagrid, not technically supposed to do magic.
Right.
He's got a secret wand and a sweet pink umbrella.
Hella.
But, you know, I think the pig's tail did the job, and...
It got the point across.
Yes.
That he was trying to make.
Yeah.
So
he rescues Harry from the Dursleys, at least for a little bit. Takes him shopping for his school supplies. Unfortunately, while Harry's getting fitted for his robes, he meets Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
Who is quite a lot like his cousin Dudley, so he's pretty sure that's not a person he wants to hang with.
Yes, exactly. Which is really funny because Draco doesn't know who he is, who Harry is, and so he's not like trying to kiss up to him or anything. He's just talking to him like.
But for a stranger, he is still pretty, you know, obvious with his beliefs and feelings. Like, he don't care. He'll tell just about anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
His nasty opinions.
And like when Harry, I think, says that his parents are dead or whatever, and Draco's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah, it's very.
So, yeah.
Not a lot of compassion in that one's heart, for sure.
No, definitely not. But Diagon Alley is, like, pretty cool. Like, they go to all the places and the shops, and Harry has all this money because he's found out that in Gringotts his bank account is flush with cash.
John Ralphio, yes.
Had to put it in there.
Yeah, yes. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah, I guess we kind of skipped Gringotts. He had to go get his money there first.
Yeah.
Before, you know, spending his sweet cash on swag.
Yeah.
But, and he, you know, and Hagrid gets him a birthday present. He gets Hedwig.
Aww.
But we will back up to Gringotts a little bit. So they go so they can get Harry's money so he can buy his stuff. But Hagrid also has a little side mission, if you will, and he's supposed to retrieve something for Professor Dumbledore. We don't know what it is. It's just a little parcel.
Yep.
From...
Vault 713.
Yeah.
Wait, is that it? 713? 713?
Vault 700 and... I don't remember. Oops.
I don't remember either. 713 is sticking in my brain,
but
I don't know if that's actually
it. Could be it. 700... Is it 786? I don't remember. You know, we could look it up for you guys, but it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, it's not that deep.
But it could be 713. But anyway, he gets this little parcel from this vault. Now, we do learn something interesting. It's one of the high security vaults, and if someone were to try and steal something, they would just be locked in there without escape, and they maybe check it like once a month or something. Why did you retrieve it from there, Dumbledore? Mm-hmm. Obviously, he has a plan for it, because if he really, really, really wanted to keep it untouched and safe, he would have left it where it was. Because I believe the thief would have just been trapped in there. But I don't know. Maybe the extra dark magic would have just been easy peasy for them.
Yeah, it's very hard to say.
But I do feel that there was a clear motive and a plan in place.
Yes, certainly. And then, so... the next major thing is when Harry gets his wand at Ollivanders.
Yes. Not nearly as destructive as it is depicted in the movies. It's just swap, 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 swap.
Yeah. Yeah. But eventually he gets one that is Holly and Phoenix Feather.
Oh, oh, oh. That's the right one.
Yeah. And ironically, the Phoenix that provided the feather for Harry's wand also provided a feather for Voldemort's wand.
Whoa.
Ooh, So, ironic, and is this going to come up again? Obviously, yes.
Yes, it is, 100%. Maybe not today.
No, not for like 3 books.
3 more books?
Yeah.
Then poor Harry has to go back to the Dursleys for just a little bit until he gets to go to school.
Yeah.
I do feel that Hagrid should have been a little more specific about the
Getting-
workings of
Yeah.
the platform.
Yeah.
But the Dursleys begrudgingly drop Harry off. And he sets out to figure out how to get to platform 9 3/4.
Yeah, and he's like, he asks someone and they're like, come off it.
Yeah.
That's not real.
Yeah.
And he's like, ugh.
Stop messing with me, child.
Yeah. So, but luckily he comes across a family of wizards because he knows they are because they say the term muggle.
Yeah.
So,
Train station's full of muggles.
yeah. So he's like, I'm going to follow them.
Yeah. Maybe they can help me.
And they do.
Yeah.
Because it's the Weasleys.
Yep. The people with the million children and hearts of gold.
Hearts of gold.
They may not have a lot of gold in their bank, but they have a lot in their heart.
They do. They're rich at heart.
Yes, they are. If not my own family, I would want to be part of the Weasley family.
I agree.
My ideal house, I mean, just the coziness of the burrow. I want to live there.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was going to pick a wizarding family to be a part of, I'd pick the Weasleys for sure. Without a doubt.
I would help them financially too. I'd be like, let me chip in.
I know. Yeah. I agree. But, yeah, so the Weasleys help him get onto platform 9 3/4. He's at the train. He gets in the compartment. He sits. And they're all alone. And then Ron,
Shows up.
he's like, hey, can I sit here? And Harry's like, yeah.
And then little Ron has his little sandwiches. They're all squishy. But he'll happily eat them because that's what he's got.
That's what he's got.
And then Harry, for the first time in his life, has cash to spend. And there is a cart full of candies. And he gets... In the book, he does not take the whole lot. He is not selfish. But he does take a few of everything.
Yeah, he gets a few of everything and shares with Ron.
I think it's so sweet in the book how it talks about, like, this is the first time he's had something to share.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants to do with it. It's not like, I have all this candy, it's mine. Like, he's not selfish with it. He's like, I finally have something that I can share with someone.
Yeah.
And even in consideration of Ron's feelings, he's like, oh, I'll swap you one of these for one of your sandwiches. It's just so very thoughtful and so very sweet. And I just absolutely love it.
Yeah. Because there is that, like, some people, if you're obvious with your, like, let me give this to you.
Yeah.
That is kind of like I'm not a charity case.
Right.
So you don't need to give me your shit.
Right.
And Harry being 11 years old and already intuitively knowing it's going to be better for me if I trade.
Yeah.
Because he's giving me something, I'm giving him something. We're on even footing.
Yes. Yeah.
We're even. I'm not above him. So it's interesting that an 11-year-old is making that connection.
Yeah, he truly is very mature for his age and his thought process of things, which there's another moment later that I thought was very mature of him that I'll mention when we get there. But and then yeah, for all the like the movie Ron haters, like even in this one we get some really great moments of Ron like in that compartment. He's like telling him about all his siblings and all the hand-me-downs, but like the way that it's done, it's not necessarily, I guess it's a little poor me, but it just, the way that he tells it, it just informs his like emotional state and like why he feels the way he feels and feels kind of set aside, or like what he does might not matter because he's already had successful brothers ahead of them and it's just kind of expected. Even though his parents don't strike me as the type to be like, you must succeed, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, they just seem all like they want their children to do things that, like any parent, you know, to be people that they can be proud of. But I just think we get a cool moment of Ron kind of sharing his heart in this moment.
Yeah.
You know, I like it. I like it a lot. It stuck out to me.
Yeah. And he also shares with Harry that his family doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then that gives Harry an opportunity to be like, I've never had anything either. You know, until he found out he was a wizard, he had nothing. He wore all Dudley's old clothes, and that kind of like bonded them a little.
That bonded them even
know.
more. Because, Ron's gotten all the hand-me-downs and all the broken things. I mean, his wand has the hair sticking out the end, poor boy.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So, there's multiple levels but that's just another deeper emotional level that they really, like, instantly bond on.
Yeah.
You know? And I like it a lot.
I like it, too. It's really precious.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're buds from the jump.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
And we even see, like, Hermione comes in at one point trying to help Neville find Trevor, his toad.
Mm-hmm. Who's always jumping off somewhere.
He's always getting away. And, you know, she immediately positions herself as being the know-it-all.
Yes.
Which is really, I find it really endearing and cute.
Yes, yeah. She's bossy, and they're little boys. They're like, get out of here, bossy girl.
Yeah. This is very, like, 11-year-old children.
Yes.
They don't want to be bossed around, and she knows that she's smarter than everyone, and she lets them know it.
And they know that what she's saying is right.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, you should change into your robes.
And they're just like, no.
They're like, yeah, we probably should.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. You know, we probably should put on our robes.
Yeah. So it's really cute. It's really cute.
And then I think we even have an altercation with Draco. That's where Draco finds out who Harry is.
Yeah, he's gotten wind of who Harry is now.
But since he sees that he's friends with Ron, you know, we're not. He acts unimpressed when he has the
hair.
Hand-me-down
robes.
Must be a Weasley.
I can find the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Yep. I love that moment in the books as well.
Yeah, because Harry's known Ron for like an hour or so.
Yeah.
And he's already like taking up for him.
Yeah. I almost wonder if like the wrong sort comment is actually in the robe shop, I think, because Draco in true fashion is like talking smack about Hagrid outside the window, and he's just like, no.
Yeah.
I can see for myself that you are human trash.
Yeah, you're not my kind of people.
Right. But yeah, whether it happens in the robe shop or in that compartment, it's like Harry knows exactly who this Draco fool is.
Yeah, he's clocked him 100%. Mm-hmm. And then we get off the train. They take the boats across the lake. All the first years with Hagrid.
It's a beautiful sight. The castle.
They see Hogwarts for
candles
the first time.
Lit up.
And they're all like cloistered in the entrance hall waiting to find out how they're going to get sorted into their houses. Mm-hmm. And Harry's like, if there's a test, I'm going to fail. What the hell?
I'm in big trouble.
And Ron says that friend George told him that it's some sort of test and it's really painful.
Yeah, they told him it hurt.
So even Ron doesn't really know. It seems like in some families they kind of leave a little bit of mystery.
Yeah, I had never really thought about it until I watched a video by these cool brothers on YouTube called the Carlin Brothers, and they had this pretty neat theory that the Sorting Hat secret was like kept by a secret keeper, which is why it's seeming like the ones that know about it, but still can't talk about it, like tell their kids, and that's why it's a mystery. It's like,
ooh, that's interesting.
It's such a cool theory. You should absolutely go watch it on YouTube. They 0% know I exist, but I am 100% gonna promote that video specifically. Yeah. They have some really cool ones, like if Harry was sorted into Slytherin, and spoiler alert, he gets sorted into Gryffindor. but yeah, they just had these really cool theory videos. But yeah, the Sorting Hat thing, because I was wondering, I was like, why is it that like none of these children know how this works?
Yeah.
Why did no one tell at least one of them? Like,
yeah. Right.
What?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's like a secret keeper sort of secret, I thought was a pretty cool explanation of why it would be that way.
I agree. That is very cool. So, yeah, we get to the Sorting Hat. The Sorting Hat sings its song.
the songs are sorely missed in the movies for me.
Yes, they absolutely
Especially
are.
later, the more informative they get.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm guessing everyone hearing this knows the four houses, but they're Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff.
Yes.
So
Our golden trio, they're all in
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. And Draco Malfoy goes to Slytherin.
Yeah.
I know quite a lot of lovely Slytherins in my life, but in the books, they are the house that typically, if you are, dark magic inclined, you tend to go to Slytherin. But one of their major traits is ambition, and sometimes ambition is paired with like being a little evil or a little power hungry. So
Yeah.
not every Slytherin is a bad guy,
Right.
but unfortunately, a good majority of them turn that way.
It's like most of the bad guys are Slytherins, but not most Slytherins are bad guys.
Right.
So, but Neville, Hermione, Ron, and Harry are all Gryffindors.
Yeah. Gryffindor's traits are bravery.
Boldness.
Yeah. And then Ravenclaw, wit and intelligence.
Creativity.
And then our sweet little Hufflepuffs are...
kind and loyal
Yeah.
and gentle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. I am a Ravenclaw.
I am a Hufflepuff. Now, I was originally sorted to Ravenclaw, but every quiz I ever took, I was like so 50-50 Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff that it was so close. And then when they revamped the Pottermore site, I had to retake the test, and I was re-sorted into Hufflepuff. And although I loved Ravenclaw, being a Ravenclaw, I never felt like I quite fit because I just didn't feel smart enough to belong. Even though I am a creative person, but yeah, I went ahead and allowed the resorting to occur, and I identify with a Hufflepuff now. But I think both houses are wonderful.
Of course. Lauren is a Hufflepuff.
Nice.
And Emily is a Hufflepuff. And
that one surprises me a little.
That surprised me a lot, actually.
Yeah. Not anything bad against Emily. That's just not the house I would have thought.
I fully expected her to get Ravenclaw, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But she did not. I want to say Jeree is a Hufflepuff as well.
Nice.
That's a toss-up between Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff for me, but I feel like she leans a little more Hufflepuff. Yeah. But Dakota's Gryffindor.
Nice. Caleb is a Slytherin.
Yeah.
I actually know quite a few Hufflepuff Slytherin couples, so those kind of personalities, I guess,
lend
well to a relationship, I suppose.
What's weird is Dakota's brother Dallas is a Gryffindor and his wife Rihanna is a Ravenclaw.
So,
weird.
Boldness and wit, and then, loyalty and
ambition.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know, but
it works.
Yeah.
I think it's more reliable than astrological signs.
I agree.
In my opinion.
I agree. Because astrological signs are silly. I am technically a Cancer, and I never read my horoscope or anything, but anything I've ever come across that's like a typical Cancer, I'm like, that is not, none of that describes my personality in any way.
Now, I'm an Aries, or technically, I guess, an Aries-Pisces cusp, because my birthday is so close to the switch.
Yeah, I am a cusper as well.
Yeah.
Cancer, Leo.
I mean, I will say that some of it describes me, like, I can be very meek and sweet, but also, like, if my fuse gets lit,
yeah,
maybe watch out. But it's not ever, I don't ever direct it at a person. It's more like just screaming into the void. But I feel like the descriptions are designed in a way to apply to, if you think about it hard enough, apply to just about anybody.
Oh, yeah,
that's kind of how it ends up working.
Yeah, because anyone on any given day could potentially have that trait. I don't know. They always describe Cancers as being really emotional and sensitive, and I'm like,
not this girl.
Are you kidding me? I think everyone is emotional,
Yeah.
but I think outwardly emotional
Yeah.
is not who the person I am at
Yeah.
all. And I would never consider myself sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the, like, the Aries, like, being prone to anger or whatever, like, they make it seem like very rash and, like, bursting anger, but also, like, almost super bold. I am not super bold. Now, if I have to, like, mama bear protect, like, a friend of mine or something, the boldness comes more easily. But if it's for me,
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if I think about, well, everybody gets mad. Like
yeah, true.
you know? But the Hogwarts houses, I think, one, you take a quiz and you're, like, kind of, not everyone takes a quiz. Some people just choose their house, and that's fine too. But that's the thing. You get to choose or take a quiz that kind of aligns with your answers. So I just feel like it takes who you are as a person more into account than just, oh, you were born
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So this is who you are.
Exactly. And Harry actually gets to choose.
True.
'Cause he doesn't choose which one he wants to be in. He chooses which one he does not want to be in.
Correct.
He does not want Slytherin.
Because he does have a thirst to prove himself, which,
does.
you know, ambition. And he could have been one of the good ones, but he did not want to be stuck with the example he'd been given. Again,
Right.
like a guy who was like his cousin who he lived with for 11 years. No, thank you.
Yeah. He was like, it's a no for me.
Right. Please don't put me in Slytherin.
Yeah.
The hat who was like, well, okay, then better be Gryffindor.
It's such a precious scene in the movie. He's
It
like
is.
very like lit up and excited.
Yes.
And the lighting is very like warm lighting.
Yeah.
It's very precious.
The first two movies are just like a sweet bonfire hug, and I
Yeah.
just love it so much.
Yeah, they're not taking themselves too seriously. It's very playful, very nostalgic, very 10-year-olds will love this.
Christopher Columbus knows what he's doing.
He does. And his daughter was in the film.
That's right. She was Susan
Susan.
Bones. She's
How
so
precious.
cute.
She was really cute.
Oh,
Can you imagine just being like 10 years old and you get to be in Harry Potter?
heck yeah.
I was really pissed at my parents when I was young, like 11, 12 years old. I'm like, why are we not British? If we had lived in England, I'm the perfect age to be in Harry Potter. It's your fault that I was not in the films,
Yeah.
Mom. Because I also, like, when I was a child, kind of looked a little like what Hermione was supposed to look like. I had a lot of hair. It's not curly, but I mean, my hair can be large.
Yeah.
And I had like large front teeth as well.
Aw.
So I could have like passed
You would have been.
visually. I don't know if I'm a thespian.
You would have been perfect. I
was-
just know it.
I was very mad. I was like, Mom, I hate you.
Took away my dreams before you even knew that they were my dreams.
Why didn't you anticipate my needs? Oh, so Snape.
Yeah. Sitting at the table with the other teachers.
Yeah. It's dislike from the beginning.
From the jump.
He's glaring at Harry, and Harry's like, "What the fuck, dude? I don't know you."
Who's that guy hating on me with his eyeball daggers?
With his long, greasy hair and his hooked nose.
Yeah. What's that guy's beef? Oh, it's me. Oh,
Sick.
great.
Cool. Par for the course.
Right.
So we eventually find out that Snape went to school with Harry's parents and had a very strong dislike for Harry's dad,
Yes.
James.
James was not kind to Snape.
That's true. James himself was a bit of a bully. To Snape only.
I am guessing yes. Have we even? Yeah. I mean, he seemed liked by others, just not Snape.
Yeah.
But I feel his bullying of Snape probably had something to do with the girl that he liked.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah. And
It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's never okay to bully. And it sucks. I do think I would really like to have a TV show of
The Marauders.
The Marauders.
Oh, yeah.
That would be, I think that is what they should do next. They
Yeah.
should stop all of this
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beast nonsense. It's not canon, and I do not accept it.
I was looking forward to it until they just, like, took it into a million different directions and didn't keep it cohesive and were just, like, jamming cute animals into the story to make it a It's like, if you want to tell Dumbledore and Grindelwald, give it its own thing.
Yeah.
If you want to tell Newt Scamander and give it its own thing. Like, don't jam these two ideas together and, like, force the story, you know, whatever.
I also really think that that JK should have just written the story. If Warner Brothers wanted those stories, I feel like she should have written the books for them.
Yes, because the second movie especially, there's so much going on, which she probably could have translated better into a book format.
Right.
But in a movie format, it just that much information just does not gel.
Yeah, exactly. I only watched the first Fantastic Beasts. I didn't watch the rest. I thought it was fine. I didn't love the American wizards and witches. I really didn't like their lingo. We spent so long in, like, Muggle and all of the regular Harry Potter lingo, and then you come over here, you enter the chat late in the game, and you're using terms like nomad. I really hated it.
I'm not gonna not be a wizard and then be called a nomad. You can call me a muggle all day long. But don't you dare call me a nomad.
I think that term specifically ruined it all for me. I kept hearing it, and I could not get over it.
I will say Jacob Kowalski is an absolute delight, and I just adore his character.
Yeah. I thought the visual effects were nice.
Yes.
I liked Colin Farrell. Maybe because he's hot, I think, specifically.
And a great actor.
He's a great actor.
They should have just kept him. They should have just kept him. I know that wouldn't have worked with the story, but maybe they should have found out a way.
Yeah.
Because I liked him. I thought he did great.
Yeah. But anyway.
I don't even remember how we got here. Oh, yeah.
The Marauders.
Right. And we don't find this out till the end of the book, but I don't ever remember knowing this, but I guess James saved Snape's life at some point.
Yes.
And so Dumbledore figures that's at least one of the reasons that, you know, Snape sort of
hates Harry.
It sort of protects, but also sort of hates Harry. It's like, I don't want to owe your father, so.
Yeah. When I think eventually, I don't think that, well, I think obviously Snape hated James, and that's why Snape is projecting that on Harry, because Harry looks just like James.
Right.
But also, Harry is a reminder that Lily is dead.
Yeah.
And so it's probably 50-50.
Yeah.
He hated James.
For being an absolute jerk.
And getting what he wanted.
Yeah.
And Harry is just there reminding Snape every day of what he never had and can now never get.
Can you understand it on a level? Yes. But in reality, this is a child who has been abused his entire life, and you're going to continue that cycle.
And never got to know his own parents.
You absolute piece of bat droppings.
Yeah, how selfish is that? Snape is arguably the most selfish character.
Yeah. All of his motives are, driven by his own feelings.
He does so many brave things, like obviously towards the end. He does so many brave things, and he for the greater good generally, but his motive has nothing to do with ultimate good. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's strictly because of his feelings for Lily.
Yeah. And we've already seen one example. Harry is very selfless.
Yeah, incredibly so.
And just continues to be. Does he have some angsty moments later on? Absolutely. He's going through a whole heck of a lot.
And he's a teen. Right.
But he truly is just a very good-hearted soul. So it's just wild to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But I will set my soapbox to the side for now. Because we have more fun things to discuss, like brooms.
Yes.
And Quidditch.
Yes. So now we get into the thick of being a Hogwarts student. We go to class with them. We go to Transfiguration. We go to Charms. Leviosa, right?
And I think in the book, the emphasis is on the Wingardium part, not the Leviosa part. So that was one of those little swapsies for the
Yeah.
movies. But
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Leviosa. Which in the book, I think it's like, no, it needs to be Wingardium. You know, like something
Yeah.
like that. Just one of those funny little
Yeah, so
switchies.
it's Hermione out here being Miss Know-It-All, and Harry and Ron are not, they're just not vibing. They're like, God, will this girl shut up? Stop correcting my spells and doing the better than me.
Right. Stop bossing me about.
That's the thing about Hermione that I think makes her character really work, is that she's bossy and a know-it-all, but she can do all of it.
Yeah, and she does actually know it all.
Yeah,
She's not fronting.
no, she is not a poser here.
No.
She knows it and she can do it.
Yep.
So she gets to be the know-it-all.
Yeah.
She gets to be bossy.
And she softens a little bit.
She does. She does.
Which, in any good friendship or just relationship in human society, you share and learn and grow with your friends, and you all kind of rub off on each other, sometimes in a mischievous way and sometimes in good ways.
Yeah, it's
know?
good and bad. It's
Help
give
each
and
other
take.
grow, and like I said, and sometimes if you're hardened, you get a little softer. You become a little more kind.
Yes, absolutely. So we also get to see Harry's first experience with broom. They have flying lesson, and Neville goes awry quickly.
Poor Neville. Everything normally just goes awry for him.
Yeah,
Why is
poor
it
guy.
always me?
Exactly.
Poor Neville.
Exactly. Oh, Neville. So yeah, his broom just starts flying, and he's out of control of it. It's doing its thing without any input from Neville.
No.
But he eventually falls off it and breaks his wrist.
Gotta go to the hospital wing.
So Madam Hooch takes him and leaves the rest of the class unattended with their broomsticks.
Oh, really? That's on her.
This is all Madam Hooch's
She
fault.
threatened. It's funny how often the teachers threaten to expel these children. It's like there's no. I mean, there is detention, but it's like there's no threat of detention or like extra homework or anything. It's like no wonder these children are always terrified that they're going to get kicked out because they're told all the time.
Yeah.
Step out of line, you're getting kicked out
Yeah.
for good.
Exactly.
So she threatens them, but
yeah.
Draco Malfoy's got to be a him about it.
Yeah. He kind of has a vision that he operates outside the rules because his father is very rich.
Yes.
So he thinks, my father will... I can't get kicked out because of who my family is.
Yeah.
That's his...
There are no consequences
Yes.
for moi.
Exactly. So he... As soon as Madam Hooch is out of eyeshot, Draco is in the air with Neville's Remembrall.
Yeah, this cool little doodad that Neville got from his grandma. If you hold it and you've forgotten something, red smoke appears in the center. Mine would always be filled with red smoke because there's always little thoughts that are just falling straight out of my brain. And that's the sad part. It doesn't... Now, if it told you the thing that you were forgetting...
That would be a game changer.
I would want it 100%.
But it doesn't. It's like taunting you. It's like, ha, you've forgotten something.
But I hope you remember what it is. But either way, he's making fun of Neville, holding it up, saying he's going to put it somewhere for Neville to find. And Harry's like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, he's not having it.
Not today, son.
Yeah.
And I do think it's cool during the lesson, Harry's like, this is the first thing that he's just been a natural at.
Yeah, he's just immediately good at it.
And it's not like he's immediately good at it. The narration even says, like, he's surprisingly immediately good at this. This is something that comes natural to him. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily unrealistic.
Yeah,
Some
it
people are
happens.
just naturally good at things.
Yes.
So, no Marty Stew over here necessarily,
Yeah.
Just, he's good at flying. Get over it.
He's a good flyer.
And he is has no qualms about defending Neville. He doesn't really know Neville that well. And he's
That's
like,
true.
you're not going to mess with his stuff. Put it down. Quit being a jerk.
Yeah.
And Draco's like, whatever. And he throws it. Harry, being the natural that he is, swoops down, dives, catches the sucker before it hits the ground in like such precise flying.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
First time on a broomstick.
Yep. Whoops, though, because McGonagall saw him do it.
Ooh.
Now, I don't think Hooch told her, hey, watch my students. But she probably saw that Madam Hooch wasn't there.
Yeah.
And was like, something's afoot. We think Harry's in trouble, but no.
Nope.
He's the new seeker for the Quidditch team for Gryffindor.
And the captain of the Quidditch team is Oliver Wood.
Sweet Oliver Wood.
Oh, I love him so much. And he's pumped.
He eats, breathes, and sleeps Quidditch.
Yeah.
Did he get a career in Quidditch?
He did.
Okay. He needed to. If he didn't, I was going to question my own life choices.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes and plays for like a national team or something, I think. Yeah.
Oliver Wood.
Oh, and
Way to
he's
go,
like,
Bo.
he's the keeper of the Quidditch team. So, so yeah, Harry joins the Quidditch team. Fred and George are the beaters, and let's see, Alicia Spinnet, Katie Bell, and Angelina Johnson are the other members of the Quidditch team. So he's on the team.
Yep.
And he gets a broom. First years are not supposed to have brooms, but he...
This is special circumstances, because first years aren't usually on the team, probably,
Yes.
either.
True.
So.
True.
Guess who gave him that broom, guys? McGonagall.
Oh. And it's a Nimbus 2000. It's like the top of the line at this time.
Yeah, it's noise.
Yeah. Nice. So Harry's got like the Lamborghini of broomsticks.
Yeah. And another, this boy is probably finding, camaraderie and family that he's never known is in his entire life. The Gryffindor house is supposed to be sort of like your family. Now he's part of this little niche Quidditch team. And then he's got his best friend Ron Weasley and kind of, sort of Neville and Hermione.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think Halloween happens before his first Quidditch match, but not... I think it happens, after the duel, because they find Fluffy before Halloween, because Hermione is not their friend yet.
Right.
Yeah. But, so I think after Harry gets the broom is when Draco challenges him to the duel.
Yes. Yeah. He gets the broom right away. So there's tons of practices between them, that and the game.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. The duel and finding Fluffy does happen before the first match.
Yes.
Because he's reading his Quidditch book, and that's when Snape decides to be a butt. But then that's when he sees Snape's leg.
Yes.
All that jazz. So backing up a bit. Draco's jealous that Harry has something that Draco's parents could easily buy for him, but he's just mad because first years can't have brooms at school. And he starts talking them fighting words at Harry, and he's like, fine, we're going to have a wizard's duel. And Ron, without hesitation, was like, yeah, and I'm his second.
Yeah.
This guy is ride or die.
Yeah, that's like wizard speak for... What, bitch?
Now, granted, he did agree to something that Harry did not realize what he was agreeing to. But he was standing up being a loyal friend immediately. And they haven't been friends for that long. Their friendship connection is instant.
Yeah, for sure.
So he challenges him to the duel. They agree. He's going to be a second. Basically, if Harry dies, Ron takes over.
Yeah.
But alas... are we surprised? Draco is not being honest.
Nope.
Says he'll meet them in the trophy room.
Nope.
He's not there, but guess who is? The guy who loves catching and punishing children, Argus Filch.
He is the caretaker of the castle.
Yeah.
And
Hagrid is the keeper of the keys and grounds, but Argus is Mr. Filch.
He's the castle guy.
Yeah. The castle guy. So, and he loves catching children, getting them in trouble. Him and his cat, Mrs. Norris.
Yep. So they are the ones who show up. And Hermione's with them because she had tried to talk them out of going.
And then got herself locked out of the...
locked out of the common room.
And then Neville was also locked out of the common room. Because you need a password, guys.
Yeah.
There's a portrait that hangs out there. You give them the password. They let you in. But, by the way, portraits and pictures move, y'all. So, if the portrait decides they're going to go visit their friend in a painting frame up 2 levels, you're just SOL.
Yeah, you're not getting in until they get back.
So, she disappears. Hermione can't get back in. Neville didn't know the password to begin with. Well, he can't go anywhere because the lady's gone. So, they got to tag along.
Mm-hmm. And so, when Mrs. Norris turns up, they know they've got to
Skit-daddle.
So, they run away and find themselves on the 3rd floor corridor. And Hermione unlocks the door so they can hide. They get in there. They think, we're away. Filch is not going to catch us. And then, boom, they see a giant 3-headed dog.
Yikes.
That is a plot twist.
They escape with their lives.
They do. No bloodshed.
And then they don't get caught either. So Draco's plan is foiled for sure.
Yes.
I guess we forgot to mention, during the sorting and the celebrating and the eating on the first night at school, Dumbledore said, hey, do not go in that forest outside the school, and don't go to that 3rd floor corridor unless you plan to die a most painful death.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know that they realized they were going into the 3rd floor corridor, or even if they did, their immediate danger was a lot worse than what they anticipated to be in there. But 3-headed dog, they run off.
Yeah.
With their lives not getting in trouble this time.
And I don't know if much happens really after that. I think we come up to Halloween at this point.
Yeah, just school stuff and Quidditch practices.
Yes. And so then we have the Halloween feast. And they have like floating pumpkins and candles everywhere, live bats. Sounds so cool.
Sounds like a party I want to go to. And I don't go to parties.
And then Professor Quirrell runs in and he's like, "Troll in the dungeons!"
All you want to know.
And he faints. Because he's a little bitch.
Little wormy, what are you doing teaching defense against the dark arts?
No,
This is not your gig.
No. So everyone's kind of like rushing out. Well, Ron and Harry notice that Hermione is not with them because she went to the bathroom crying.
Because maybe Ron might have said something earlier on that she was not supposed to hear, but he was mad at her.
He was mad.
And he was being a rude little boy, and he basically was like, she's such a nosy know-it-all. Why doesn't she just keep to herself? Or she doesn't have any friends, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And he makes her cry, and she goes to the girls' bathroom to cry, and she knows nothing about the troll.
Nothing about the troll, so they're like, we have to go save her.
Yeah.
So they run right to the bathroom to save her, and the troll is in there.
Well, what's funny?
They lock him in.
Yeah, they see the troll on their way. Like, I feel like they were were they even trying to look for her? I feel like they just see the troll and they're like, oh, we need to divert him away. And then they close him in a room and then they hear a scream. And then it's like, oops, that's where Hermione is.
Yeah. So they're in there.
They go back in. They go back for her. They don't leave her to die.
That's right. No man left behind. Mm-hmm. And so they're fighting the troll.
Yep. Now, Hermione is not cool under pressure.
No.
She freezes up.
She freezes up and is panicked.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah.
This girl's allowed to have character flaws because she's great at everything else.
Yes, exactly.
Under pressure, not her strong suit at this juncture.
Yeah. At age 11, she froze.
At age 35, so would I. But
Same. Yeah.
The boys save her.
They do. And they take on this troll and eventually knock it out.
Ron uses the wisdom that Hermione gave him in class.
Swish and flick.
And Harry just throws caution to the wind, jumps on the sucker, puts his wand up its nose.
Yep, he
But
does.
they win.
They win. And then the teachers all come in. They're like, what happened
What
here?
the H-E double are you doing?
So Hermione actually lies, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. She didn't necessarily need to lie here, but she does.
I think because she wouldn't have gotten in trouble if she said, I was in here and it came in to attack me. But they would have gotten in trouble for not going where they were supposed to go. I don't know. I didn't fully understand it either. I was like, why didn't you just say, hey, yeah, I was in here.
Didn't know about the troll.
And they heard me scream and they came to save me. But I think she didn't want there to be a chance of them getting in trouble for breaking the rules. She just was like, they were coming to help me. I'm a rule breaker.
Yeah, essentially. So they all come out unscathed. I think Harry and Ron got some points for taking down the troll. Hermione got docked some for her lie.
Yeah, because she lied and said that she was trying to find the troll because she had read about them and thought she could handle it.
Yeah.
And then they came to rescue her.
Exactly.
Again, I'm not totally sure why she lied, but I think she was just trying to avoid any scenario where the boys got in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But then after that,
they're friends.
Bonded. There are just some things that you go through that you can't escape without being friends afterwards.
Yes. So this is the genesis of the trio.
Yep. They fully know who each other are now, and flaws and all.
Flaws and all.
We're friends.
Yep. From here, we have some more school stuff, but then we get to Harry's first Quidditch match.
Ooh, ooh.
Officially. So, they're up in the air. We get some fire commentary from Lee Jordan.
Lee Jordan. Holla.
He's so good.
So good.
The scenes with him and McGonagall commentating.
Lee Jordan.
They're just so good. It's yeah.
Calling fouls out left and right.
Yeah. After that dirty bit of cheating. So funny. So the Quidditch match is against Slytherin, and they're doing their thing. Slytherin, they play dirty.
They be Slytherin.
Yeah, they do
up
be
there
Slytherin
in the
up there.
skies.
They play pretty dirty, but the Gryffindors are above. They're above that. They're not playing dirty.
Because they know they can win on their skill alone.
That's exactly right. So we get to experience some Quidditch, some goal scoring, the kind of swiftness, the back and forth, and then all of a sudden, Harry's broom starts freaking out.
Trying to buck him off.
Yeah, it's like jerking around, and it throws him off, and he's hanging by like one hand from the handle. The Weasley twins are like circling below him to try and catch him if he falls.
Yep.
It's pretty insane.
It's intense.
So
why no one else is taking action, I don't know.
yeah, they're all just staring at him from like the audience, and Hermione's like,
all the teachers, Albus Dumbledore, everyone's just like, whoa, what's happening?
I wonder what's happening.
Doing nothing.
So,
but thank God for Ron and Hermione.
Yeah, they see Snape, and they're like, he's staring at Harry, won't break eye contact, and he's muttering. So they think Snape is cursing the broom.
Yep.
So she runs over there, lights a fire.
Yeah. She runs over there. She bumps into Quirrell. She's in such a hurry. Knocks
him down.
His butt over, and then, sets Snape's jacket aflame.
Yep. And then Harry's broom stops bucking. He gets back on it, and then
immediately dives.
Yeah, for the snitch.
And whoop, catches it.
Almost swallows it.
In his mouth, yeah.
So then he wins his first Quidditch match.
Whoop, whoop. Now, we forgot to mention after Halloween, one of the reasons why they believe that Snape is doing this is because after the events of that night, Harry sees Snape and he's like limping and he tries to go into the teacher's lounge to get his Quidditch book back because, Snape's just being a turd and finds some reason to take it away from him. Well, when he goes in, he sees that Snape's leg is injured.
Yeah.
Almost as if he had gotten bitten by a 3-headed dog.
Exactly.
So he thinks Snape's up to something. So that already, he already knows Snape doesn't like him just because of how he treats him in class and in school and in general. And then he catches Snape with a busted leg, and that makes Snape even more mad. So they think this is enough evidence, along with the seeing him muttering that.
Yeah, Snape did it.
Yeah.
So, we get a win for Gryffindor. And then, basically, it's Christmas. Mm-hmm. Harry is obviously not going back to the Dursleys for Christmas. He's staying at Hogwarts.
Heck no.
Ron also stays, and the Weasleys. They all stay because Mr. and Mrs. Weasley are going to visit his older brothers. Are they going to Egypt?
Yeah, they go.
Bill?
They go to see Charlie. They're going to Romania.
Yeah. So
not Bill this time. Just Charlie.
Yeah. So Charlie, Bill's the oldest. Bill's the oldest. He's a curse breaker in Egypt.
4 Gringotts.
4 Gringotts. And Charlie is the second oldest, and he studies dragons in Romania. So
he could have been a professional Quidditch player. We are reminded a couple times.
Yes, he was.
But the boy loves him some dragons, so he chose that career path instead.
He's out there with the dragons. Christmas morning, Harry actually gets some presents. This has to be the first time he's ever gotten Christmas presents
that weren't a used sock. Yes,
right.
Because that's the kind of presents the Dursleys gave him, folks. Used socks.
Yeah. So he was fully not expecting any gifts, but he has gifts.
Yep.
He has a Weasley sweater.
Mrs. Weasley loves knitting her sweet baby boys and daughter some sweet swag, some cool sweaters, and Harry got one too.
Yep. He has a sweater and some baked goods. Mm-hmm. I think Hermione gives him something. I don't remember what.
I know. I think she gives Ron jelly beans, but I don't remember what she gets Harry.
Yeah. He gets something from Hermione, but he also gets a mysterious package.
From a mysterious person.
And it is the invisibility cloak. And then I think the note says this belonged to your father.
Yes, yeah. So not only is it just it's an invisibility cloak, but it's something that belonged to his dad.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it even more special.
Yes, it does. So they're trying to figure out who...
They're trying to figure out what Fluffy's guarding, and I think at some point someone... Oh, yeah. Sweet Hagrid. I think he's loyal and wonderful, and he trusts these kids. I don't think he would let anything slip to someone that he didn't trust.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? People are like, he's an oaf, but I just feel like he loves these kids. He's comfortable with them. They show him kindness. Yeah. I guarantee you not a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
But he did accidentally let slip that what the dog is guarding is between Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel. Mm-hmm. So while they're at school...
They're searching for Nicholas Flamel.
Right. Hermione did go home to be with her parents, but Ron and Harry are on task to figure out who Nicholas Flamel is.
They are on task, and so Harry wakes up in the middle of the night, and he's like, I'm going to use this invisibility cloak and go...
I don't even think he could sleep that night. He was so excited.
So excited. And he's going to go to the restricted section in his invisibility cloak. Mm-hmm. But while he's in there, he makes kind of a ruckus.
He picks the wrong book.
It screams.
Why do you have books that scream? I want to know.
Yeah. And so he has to hightail it out of the library.
Gets lost.
And he's in a random room with a giant mirror.
The mirror of Erised.
Mm-hmm. And he looks in the mirror and he sees his whole family.
Not just mom and dad. I mean, clearly these are people he's never even seen. So I kind of wonder, do they look like who they are? Does the mirror just, is this sucker so magical that it just knows what people look like? So when he's like, I want to see in his heart, deep in his heart, his request to see his family, does it give him accurate images or just... assume it images.
I think it does.
I would think that, I mean, it's magic. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to explain it that much. But yeah, so he gets to see his whole family.
He sees his family. He sees, like, eyes that look like his. He sees hair that looks like his.
Yeah.
And he is just obsessed.
This boy just wants some family.
He just wants some family. And so he keeps going back multiple nights in a row. And then one night, guess who's in there? Albus Dumbledore.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, you gotta not.
Yeah, I get the allure, but you can't do this. What's the line? You can't. Doesn't do well to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Yes.
Men have wasted away in front of this mirror. I mean, we come to learn that it's not just. It doesn't predict the future. It doesn't show you it doesn't show everyone their family. It shows you the deepest desire of your heart.
Yes.
And I can see why that would be pretty intoxicating. Even if especially when you know that it's not possible to get the thing that it shows you.
Yeah.
To be able to see it, So, but Dumbledore's like, I'm moving this thing tomorrow. Do not come looking for it.
Yep.
This is not healthy.
Exactly. So then, so the Christmas break ends. They go back to, like, their school and stuff. And then they see in the paper that someone has broken into Gringotts.
Yeah.
And they've tried to break into the very vault that Harry and Hagrid cleared in Diagon Alley. Mm-hmm. So they kind of put two and two together, and they're like, whatever was in there is here at Hogwarts now.
And they figure out the Nicholas Flamel mystery because he wasn't in any of the books that they looked at. Modern, history makers or whatever, like the stuff that they thought like someone of note would be in. He was on a chocolate frog card.
Yep.
Y'all?
He was.
With Dumbledore.
Yep.
And then Hermione remembered this like ancient history book she remembered.
Yeah.
And that's how they figure out who Nicholas Flamel is. He is the creator of the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yep. Or the Philosopher's Stone.
If you will.
If you will.
But that's why he wasn't in their modern books, because
he's like 650 years old.
He's been using his invention for a hot minute now.
Yeah. So. It creates the elixir of life and turns anything into pure gold. Or turns any metal into pure gold.
So you're rich and you live a long life.
Yep.
I think you still age. I don't think that you get to be young and spry.
Yeah.
I feel like you still age, just probably very slowly.
Yeah, and you yeah.
But I don't know. Actually. They don't say.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'm actually only saying that because of the, well, I mean, I don't know. It's not important.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So they know about Nicholas Flamel now and the Sorcerer's Stone. And in the meantime, while some things are happening, Hagrid gets his hands on a dragon egg.
Something he's wanted more than anything for probably his whole life.
Yep. He's always wanted a dragon, and he gets a dragon egg. And so Harry and Ron and Hermione are trying to help him. He heats up the egg so it hatches or whatever, because the dragons breathe fire on their eggs.
Yeah, so he's got to keep that hut super hot.
Super hot. And so they take turns going down there once it's hatched to help him or whatever. And then Draco sees the dragon.
Through the window. Because he's a sneaky
little snake.
And of course he tells on them immediately. Well, no, he doesn't tell on them immediately. Yeah. I'm so sorry. He holds it over their heads for a while.
Yes.
And he actually doesn't tell on them until they're trying to get rid of the dragon.
Yes. So what they do is Ron writes to his brother Charlie and is like, hey, do you want this dragon? Because Charlie studies dragons.
Yeah.
And so Charlie's like, I have some friends. They're going to be flying through there. They'll come get it. And so they make a plan to meet at, like, the topmost tower at midnight or whatever. And Ron doesn't actually get to go because he gets bitten by the dragon and has to be in the hospital wing.
Yes. So just Harry, Hermione, and baby dragon Norbert.
Yeah. They go up to the top tower.
Invisibility cloak covered.
Yeah, so they're trying to be cautious. They meet Charlie's friends. He takes the dragon away. All is safe and sound. But
but they're so excited.
Yeah.
They leave the cloak up on the tower, so they're just walking through the castle at midnight.
Do. You know, they're out of bed after hours. And they get caught.
By Filch.
And Neville is also out of bed because
trying to warn them.
He was trying to warn him that Draco was sending Filch after him. And McGonagall is like, all four of you. You're losing 50 points each.
And detention.
And so they go to detention in the forest with Hagrid and Fang.
Yeah. Hagrid feels bad, feels like it's his fault they got in trouble, which a little bit it is. But yeah, so they have, for detention, they send children into the dangerous woods. Mm-hmm. Harry, Hermione, and Neville are not super upset by this. They like Hagrid. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're a little scared, but Draco's the one pitching a fit because this is quote-unquote servant stuff.
Yeah.
So, but they have to go wander about the woods for to see what happened. They've seen some unicorn blood, and they're trying to figure out where the unicorn is and if it's injured, alive, if it needs help.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing for detention.
Yes, and unicorn blood is silver.
Yes, shiny silver.
So they split up. Hagrid originally goes with Harry and Hermione, and Neville and Draco take Fang. Mm-hmm. But Draco obviously is tormenting Neville,
running amok.
So then we switch up the groups. And Draco and Harry take Fang. And Hagrid is with Hermione and Neville. Mm-hmm. And then Harry and Draco see the unicorn. Mm-hmm. And they see a hooded figure drinking its blood.
Draco, the coward, hightails it out of there.
Oh, yeah. He runs away so fast.
Yeah.
And the thing sees Harry and, swoops at him. Mm-hmm. But in come the centaurs.
Thank God for friends.
Yeah.
Or Ferenzi, however you want to put it. I think Hagrid kind of bumped into them a few moments earlier. Yeah. Bane and something else. And all they keep talking about is, Mars is really large tonight. Centaurs are very centered around reading the stars and
very celestial.
Destiny. Yes, very celestial minded. So, and they don't like to get mixed up in the affairs of humans. If anything, they seem a bit prejudiced against them.
Yeah.
But Friends or Frenzy swoops in, rescues Harry, even has Harry on his back. His friends not keen on this. They're like, "What the heck are you doing? You carnival horse! Why do you have this human being on your back?"
Yeah. So
not happy about that.
They're displeased.
But Friends believes that humans and, just people in general should help each other out and be good to each other. So
yeah, exactly.
So he kind of gives them some warnings and tells Harry about who he thinks might be needing unicorn blood. Harry, being the very little smart kid that he is, who would do that? Because apparently drinking unicorn blood gives you a half-life, a cursed life. Mm-hmm. And the only benefit to doing that would be if you're near death and you need to survive and you know that you have an alternative waiting for you to kind of reverse the cursedness of said drinking of the blood, which would be none other than the elixir of life.
Right.
Who would want such a thing? Who has been out of power and would like to regain their power?
Exactly.
Voldemort. So Friends actually gives us some pretty...
He's dropping some knowledge.
Some truth bombs out here.
Exactly. So, yeah. We are armed with this knowledge. Mm-hmm. And, we see Harry connecting some dots. Mm-hmm. He's like... Wait a second. How ironic is it that the one thing that Hagrid wants most in the world is a dragon? And he happens upon a stranger in the pub who just has a dragon egg. And they go and question Hagrid, and they're like, hey, what?
Tell us the story.
What happened here? And he's like, well, the stranger obviously was interested in the kind of creatures I keep, and he told him about Fluffy, and I said, all you have to do is play him a bit of music and he'll fall straight to sleep. And they're like,
Snap. You
oh,
shouldn't.
snap. So they're thinking it's Snape.
Mm-hmm. All the while, because he's been seen with the bite a couple times. He was bullying Coral, seemingly for information.
Yep. So
we think it's Snape.
They think it's Snape the whole time. And they're like, oh, shit. So they run into the castle. They're looking for Dumbledore.
They're going to tell him everything.
They trust
him.
And then they find out Dumbledore has been called away. Conveniently. And they're like, well, shit, I guess that only leaves us to stop Snape.
Right, because they tell McGonagall that someone... Because they've learned by now, telling Hagrid that Snape's after the stone. And Hagrid's like, no, man. He's protecting it. Right. He wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
So they just say, listen, McGonagall, someone's going to steal the stone. She's like, hey, I don't know how you know about that, but get your child butts to bed.
Yeah. And they're like, no.
Yeah. And at first, I think Ron and Hermione were kind of resigned. Like, okay, I mean, what, she told us not to. What can we do? But Harry, he impresses me yet again. He's like, yeah, they threatened if we're out of bed or we're going to get in trouble, we'll be expelled. But if Dumbledore gets that stone and comes back to power, it's not going to matter if we're expelled because we're all going to be dead.
Yep.
And he's going to turn the school into a school for evil people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to sit around and wait to be killed. Because if this Joker gets out, and even if we do survive or get kicked out of school, then I'll just be sitting at the Dursleys waiting for my death sentence. So I'd rather just face him now. Mm-hmm. Whoa. First of all, thinking about just the world in general, and like, it's just like, if we can do something, let's do it, because our little trivial when we're going to get expelled doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. This is Voldemort we're talking about.
Exactly.
Proud of you, bud.
So, yeah, he's ballsy here.
Yes.
So, they make their plan. They're gonna sneak back out with the invisibility cloak. And they're gonna try and stop Snape.
Yep.
But they get in the common room, and Neville's like, no.
You've lost the house. Too many points. Because he doesn't know the grand scheme.
No, he doesn't.
He's their side bud, but he's not, like, in on the inner workings.
Yeah, he's not in the inner circle.
And, unfortunately, they don't have the time to explain it to him.
They just don't.
Petrificus totalis.
And he is, that's the full body bind.
Yep.
He's just laying there like, Neville, bud, we're sorry.
Yeah.
But this is bigger than you.
But we gotta go. We can't argue with you anymore. But Neville was like, I'll fight you.
Yeah, he was ready to fight.
Yeah.
He was a little scared.
Yeah.
But he was gonna do it.
But that's true bravery, is doing something when you're scared and doing it anyway.
Doing it anyway.
And earlier on, I wanted to mention this, Neville was to me a little baller, because like Draco was being a jerk to him, and he was like, you know what? I'm worth 10 of you.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, you are, Neville.
Yeah, he is.
Did Draco take it to heart and, like, get his feelings hurt by it? No. But Draco stood up to him and said it. And I was, again, proud of you, bud.
And Ron was like, you tell him, Neville.
Yep. He's like, yeah, get him.
Backing him up. So, yeah, they're doing it. But, so, Neville is our first casualty here.
He's not dead. He's just locked up and left behind.
Just tied up a little. So they run for the third floor. They get into the door where Fluffy is, and Fluffy's asleep already because there's a harp there playing a tune. Yep. They're like, shit, we didn't beat him here. Right. But they're going to chase him.
Right. So they hop down the hole.
Yep. And Harry goes first.
Yep.
Like a true Gryffindor.
Yep. He lands in something soft. He describes the hole above him as postage stamp sized.
So we're deep in the castle.
That's a far fall, and the fact that they're alive is a miracle in itself.
Yes. So they've all three jumped, and they're on
the devil's snare.
The devil's snare. It's a plant, and it's just slowly circling them, and it's gonna
squeezing them,
crush them to death like a boa constrictor.
Yep. Again, our smart Hermione kind of crushes under pressure. She's trying to remember what this plant is. Ron's getting a little testy. He's like, who cares what it's called? She's like, yeah, but if I know what it is, I can figure this out.
Yeah, so she does eventually.
Yeah.
And she's like, it hates the sun, so
She's
or
like,
it hates fire.
Yeah, it hates light. She's like, too bad I don't have any wood. And then Ron conveniently points out, are you a wizard or not?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, right. So she makes her little flames that she's so good at.
Her blue flames.
And they are saved from the devil's snare, and they move on to the giant chess set.
Is it the keys first? And then the chess set?
It is the keys. Yeah.
So yeah, so then
keys.
And conveniently we have some tasks that seem tailor-made for these kids.
Yes, they do seem. So there's like a key, and Ron identifies what the key should look like, an old-fashioned one. Mm-hmm. They see it. It's already been used because its wing is bent. So Harry catches it, obviously, because he's
super
a seeker. They get through the door.
And then the chess set.
Then the chess set. There's a troll at some point, but it's already been knocked out. I think they don't have to do anything.
I believe the troll is after the chess set, but before
the potions.
Yes.
So Ron is hella good at chess.
Hella good. He's a super best friend, and he's amazing at chess.
Super good at chess. So the three of them take the place on the chessboard. Ron is a knight.
Plays the best game of chess of his life.
Yes. And they win, but he has to sacrifice himself.
So yeah, wizard chess, guys, you don't just like bump someone to the side. Like these pieces decimate each other.
Yeah, they destroy. So he gets like, he gets his skull clocked by a stone chess piece.
Right.
I'm thinking that for a regular person, that's a death blow. Mm-hmm. Traumatic brain injury at the least.
Yeah, he's out, but I think they're pretty sure that he's okay.
Yeah, so Harry and Ron move on, or Harry and Hermione move on.
Yep, move past the troll that's knocked out.
Yeah, they don't have to do anything there, and then they just get to some potions. Mm-hmm. So there's flames. One set of flames blocks them from going back, and one set of flames blocks them from going forward. And it's basically like a logic game.
Yeah, we get a nice little riddle.
Yeah, you have to figure out which potion will get you forward and which one will get you back.
Well, guess what, though? Hermione figures it out, obviously.
Piece of cake.
But there's like a sip of potion that will take you forward. And so there's only enough for one.
Yeah.
So her and Harry have a moment. Harry's like, this has been great, but you should go back to safety and to Ron. And Hermione's like, thanks for being so nice, telling me that I'm amazing, but there's more than books and cleverness. Mm-hmm. There's friendship, and you're brave and amazing, and go get him, Tiger, basically.
Yeah. So they take their respective potions. Harry goes forward, Hermione goes back. And who does Harry find through the next door?
Snape. No.
It's Professor Quirrell.
What? Stuttering Professor Quirrell.
Yeah, this was a real plot twist for me. I remember reading it, and I'm like, bitch, are you serious?
Because he is not stuttering Professor Quirrell. He is Jerkwad Magoo.
Yeah.
Professor McQuirrell.
He is. He's being a real rascal.
Yep.
So, they have some words. He reveals that Voldemort is sticking out the back of his head.
Yep. That they were best friends for a while, but then he failed him. So then he wanted to be closer to him, and closer to him meant him being a little parasite on the back of his head. And that's why he wears a stinky turban.
Yeah. And there's the Mirror of Erised.
He sees that he wants the stone, but he can't figure out how to get it.
Can't figure it out.
So he makes Harry use the mirror.
Yeah. So Harry stands in front of the mirror, and he sees himself, and then he sees himself with the stone, and all of a sudden, it's in his pocket.
He feels it drop in his
feels
pocket.
It in there. And Quirrell tries to wrestle it away from him. Mm-hmm. And he...
After some choice words between Harry and Voldemort on the back of his head, then Voldemort's like, he has the stone. Okay. Yeah. After basically being huge rip and being like, hey, yeah, your parents begged for death, and I'm the biggest bad of all of them,
Yeah.
and whatever, give me the stone
Yeah.
right now.
Exactly.
Has Quirrell wrestle him for it, but yikes, Quirrell's hands turn to blisters.
After he touches Harry's skin.
And Voldemort's like, don't care.
Get him.
Get him.
And so Harry notices, and he runs and just grabs his face.
Boils, burns. He dies, right?
He does die.
Shiny and red, I think, are the two descriptors of his body.
Yes. And Harry eventually passes out.
Yeah, he hears someone's voice calling his name, but he's not sure who it is.
Yeah. And then he wakes up, and he's in the hospital wing.
And he's hanging out with Dumbledore.
Yep. And so Dumbledore and him have a nice little chat.
He's the one that rescued him from the chamber. He realized once he got to the Ministry that it was a ruse. Came right back. Didn't even need Hermione's owl that she definitely sent after she got Ron and herself to safety.
Yep. So Dumbledore tells him that the stone's been destroyed. Nicholas has set his affairs in order and destroyed the stone.
So no one has to worry about anyone drinking any elixirs of life from here on out.
Yep, that's right. So, yeah.
And we find out the reason Harry's touch boiled Quirrell's skin is because of the sacrifice Harry's mom made.
Because she died to save him.
And that much love leaves a lasting impression, and it's like in Harry's skin. It's old magic.
Old magic.
Harry tries to ask Dumbledore some questions. Dumbledore's like, I won't lie to you, but I can't promise you that I'll give you the answer if it's something that you're not ready to know yet.
Yeah.
So he asks a question that he can't get the answer to. Can't remember what it is. And then that's when he tells him about the love in the skin and all that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
And then he gets to see Ron and Hermione, and
yep, they all go to the end of the year feast.
Obviously from their mischief making, Gryffindor was down some points.
They were in last place,
and Slytherin was on top, just like they were for a bunch of years before that. So the whole school is pretty upset.
They're pretty pissed, and Dumbledore's like, you know what? We have some last minute things to cover.
Right.
He's like, hey, Ron, you get 50 points because you played some mad chess.
Mad chess.
And then Hermione, he's like, you're so logical and smart. You also get 50 points. And Harry saved the Sorcerer's Stone, so he gets 60 points.
Right. For defeating Voldemort.
Yeah.
I think he even says something to that effect. I don't know. Pretty sure he's pretty obvious about it.
Yeah. And then
we're tied with Slytherin.
We're tied for first. And then Neville. Because it takes bravery to stand up to your enemies, but it takes a great deal more to stand up to your friends. And he gives him 10 points.
And 10 points is all they need.
All they need. And they win. They're the winners.
The House Cup. Gryffindor wins! And you would have thought a bomb went off if you were outside that school because the shouts that erupted were just so large.
Yep.
It shook the building.
Shook the building.
Not literally, but figuratively.
And then that's really it. We get back on the train.
Yeah. Hagrid gives Harry a photo book. He said that he wrote to Harry's parents' old friends to get photos of them for him, which, are you kidding me?
So cute.
So sweet. And then, Ron's like, come visit this summer. And Harry's like, I need something to look forward to because I'm going back to live with those duds.
It'd be bleak for the next few months.
Yep. And then...
So,
that's it.
That's the end. It's the end.
That's it.
So, yeah. Excellent. So precious.
Nothing to dislike there.
No, I mean, this is a 10 out of 5 for me.
15, a million. It doesn't matter what the score is. All of the stars.
Yeah. It's so good.
It keeps you it kept me reading. I never got bored. The magic of the world just captivated me immediately.
Even like the down times where they're like doing school stuff, it's so interesting because like the subjects they take are interesting. The way that she conceptualized different subjects within magic, like transfiguration, charms, potions, whatever else they take, it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
To herbology.
Yep.
It's all interesting and fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Well, still like super fun and, you know, awe-inspiring, but still like has like some really cool themes, you know, and just, you know, friendship and bravery and your found family, and then even throwing in some childhood neglect and trauma and abuse in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not like doesn't, I mean, it tells you about it, doesn't point it out specifically, but it's like you really through the series see like how those things really shape these people.
Yeah.
And make them behave. It's crazy.
Exactly. So overall, it's just excellent. It's just excellent.
Yep. And this first one translated to film pretty spot on. There was only a handful of things I think that they ended up leaving out or changing. They did in an attempt to make Hermione's character more likable, which I don't think was necessary at all. They took some of Ron's bits and gave them to her, and I believe it was to Ron's detriment. As much as I love movie Ron, I do. But yeah. But other than that, the first two films really are pretty spot on.
They're pretty close.
They're, like we said, it's like a cozy bonfire feel. It's just like heartwarming, and it's beautiful to look at. And for me personally, any of them, all of them, every time that opening music would play, I would get like chills of excitement and maybe a few little misty tears in my eyes. It just, it just filled me with joy.
It's just, it's just so good. And it's, you know, my whole childhood, essentially, in a nutshell. I remember reading this first book. My 4th grade teacher read it to us from, like, we would have, like, daily reading time, and he would read to us. I don't remember any other books he read to us the whole year, but Harry Potter was one of them, and I was just, like, transfixed.
Yeah,
and so I had to like check it out from the library myself and read it.
That's cool. I have to admit, I was not on the bandwagon immediately. I had friends that had read it, and I just was like, okay, whatever. I think I even tried to read it and like started to read the first page, and I remember being like, whatever. Like, I think I was just like, these Dursley people sound like duds, and just didn't go any further. But after a while, I got smart and I thought, I'm going to give this a whirl.
Yeah.
It sounds exciting. And fell in love with it completely. The world, the characters, the whole shebang. So, I was hooked after that. After I gave in.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I don't know if I would have picked up the book on my own, but it was, I had never encountered it, heard of it, until our teacher just read it to us. And I was like,
what is he?
Yes.
I don't care what this is. Yes.
So from age 9, so that was like 1999. It was only barely out for a year.
I was literally 11 in 1999. So Harry and I were the same age.
I was 9. Little 9 years old.
Little 9-year-old baby.
So, excellent. This is a long one, but no one cares.
If you've hung out this long, though, guys, super trooper,
You're
gold
the real
star.
ones. You're the real ones.
The real ones, for sure.
So, please rate us, review us, send us an email and tell us about your Harry Potter experience, because you probably have one.
Yeah.
I'm guessing if you've listened to this, you have one.
Yeah. And if you don't, and our ramblings have inspired you to give it a shot,
do it.
Let us know.
Let's see. Also, you can send along your book recs if you have any.
Yeah.
If you've read any of the other books we've covered, we'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback.
Absolutely.
If you want to prep for our next novel, it's going to be another heavy hitter,
Yes.
The Hobbit by Tolkien.
Whoop, whoop. I'm so excited.
Huge Tolkien fan. Yeah, huge Tolkien fan. Love The Hobbit. Love The Hobbit.
I love The Lord of the Rings, love The Hobbit. I have not read them yet. I have been, for some reason, intimidated as much as because I love the movie so much. But I am excited to dive into the books, and it's just going to be wonderful. I'm very excited.
Yeah. I haven't read The Hobbit in a very long time, but I'm, happy to be rereading it. I've read the Lord of the Rings trilogy a number of times, but this will be the first time I get to read through it on my new set.
Nice.
So I own some of my very prized possessions. I own a second edition of the trilogy.
That's awesome.
That was a real find.
Yeah.
It's the first time I will actually be actively reading that set, so very exciting.
Cool.
And that's all we have for you.
Yeah.
For this.
As
this
if this
book.
Episode wasn't long enough.
This is a special feature. And
Yes.
you can expect probably all of the Lord of the Rings ones and all of the Harry Potter ones to be long like
the
this.
Lord of the Rings ones are going to be spread out a little further, I think.
A little further, yeah.
But rest assured we will be doing those as well.
Yeah.
A shout out on the tunes and artwork. They were a collaboration of the We Read Books crew.
What up?
Mad being a big chunk of that, I have to say.
But
yes.
please rest assured we did everything ourselves. We have created literally top to bottom, from the logo, the music, the content, all of the images on our socials. That's us, you guys. We don't pay anyone.
This crew of two.
That's right.
And then perhaps occasionally input from our spouses. But
That's right. At least, an opinion from them.
Yeah.
So
We may not do exactly what they say, but we'll listen.
I'll absorb it.
But, well, until next time, nitwit, blubber, oddment, tweak, and read books.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye!